Some happy news. I fixed an issue in OBS that only I was seeing that makes no outwardly. No, I should say I think I fixed a problem. We'll have to see over the next week or so. That was not manifesting at all towards anyone except for myself. So, happy that I did that. Also, apologies. We're a bit early tonight. Generally earlier than we normally are, especially for Tuesday streams. Apologies about that. I have some later night plans, so I decided to bump this up slightly earlier. Good advertisement though for Twitch notifications. Turn those suckers on, baby. Turn them on if you care to, or not. You know, if you don't, I won't care. So yeah, apologies. We're a little. You're like Omega tired, dude. That's my life. I'm always tired. I don't know what it's been like to not be tired for probably the last 7 years. Not gonna watch. Fair, fair, fair. Have fun watching the VOD, or not, or don't watch the VOD. No, I hope you have a nice night, regardless. Thanks for dropping by. So yeah, we're only gonna do one chapter, one section, chapter within a chapter, whatever they call them. No matter how short or long it is, and then we'll call it a night. But at least we can say we did. I almost said a Umineko, a Higurashi. That's the plan. And I think we're going to the festival. If we're not going to a festival, then I've been bamboozled. If we don't get our ass to a festival, then we have been, or I have been bamboozled. So, welcome to the stream. Let's do the quickest of recaps. What happened Saturday? We finally got confirmation, just like the anthropomorphic M&Ms and Santa Claus, Shion does exist. She is a separate person to Mion. They are twin sisters. That kind of blew up a bit in Ketchi's face. Ketchi's face. We got a little more background and the realization by Ketchi on the why exactly Mion might be upset at him, at Ketchi, with a little bit of nudging from Rina. A nice little helpful shove in the right direction there by her. I think the inciting incident being the kind of the way he treated the doll situation when they were at the shop. But you could probably, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but you could probably extrapolate, that's what I'm trying to say, extrapolate that into his overall treating of her as a friend and just as kind of like the friend the two of them are. And this kind of goes into a whole big whirlwind of how he was treating, for what he was under the impression was Mion. He thought, oh, the Shion persona is Mion just acting differently. She doesn't feel comfortable acting like Shion did in front of Ketchi. So she, she didn't think that was authentic to herself. So I'm going to put on this persona thing. He was playing along with it. That was all in his mind. But this is all a big thing of like probably, again, maybe a bit of theorizing by me. Maybe a bit reading way too much into it. But potentially Mion potentially being more interested in Ketchy than just friends. And this again goes to the whole, how does he view her during the doll thing? How does he treat Shion when she's in all looks and appearances the same as Mion, but just slightly different? What you would maybe say more girly, more feminine, more sweeter attitude, at least before the shit hit the fan and he realized Shion's maybe a terrible person. I hope Ketchy's on that path. I think he's kind of he's like, oh shit, yeah, it's kind of iffy because Ketchy on one hand like was leaning into it and kind of into it, and then when the reveal happens and you see and he sees hopefully that Shion kind of sucks, and is kind of evil for how she was doing this, and then it seems like she was leading him on just to get at Mion. Hopefully he sees it, but also he's like, oh shit, I'm also in trouble. Not only have I been bamboozled and I feel bad for how this looks to Mion, but also it puts me in the doghouse, for lack of a better term. So we'll see how Ketchy gets himself kind of out of that. We saw it kind of manifest just a bit more after that. We saw them getting set up for the festival. Then we saw the reintroduction of blonde-haired lady and Tomatake. That's his name. Got it. They were reintroduced here for the first time here in Chapter 2. They're there. He's taking photos. Blonde lady's enjoying herself, just talking. She's doing whatever the fuck she's doing. I'm curious to see if they die again or if they get spared in this chapter 2. Obviously, we know what happened to them in chapter 1. Well, we sort of know, right? Tomatake was found dead. Apparently, blonde-haired lady disappears. I'm curious if that same thing happens here. Or if there's going to be, like, new victims. I'll use the word victims. I think I theorized that it seems as though, unless the game is trying to lead us this way and it's a fake out, it feels like Shion could be a potential, like, dark horse candidate for being targeted here by the Oyashira curse. Or is it a curse? I don't know. They talked about as they were setting up towards the end of the festival thing, like, oh, yeah, everyone was taking different stabs at it, right? They were kind of like, do you think it's cursed? Do you think it's too much coincidence? If there's not a curse, whatever. A lot of that went on. And I think that's basically all. Oh, we also had before the Shion reveal, official Shion reveal. There was whenever in media you have the plucky ragtag group of, in theory, underpowered group taking on big bads or creeps in this case. That happened at the Angel Mort. You got to see them all do their own little piece. That was kind of thing where the gross guys that were, not for lack of a better term, actual term, harassing Shion there originally, back before Shion revealed to be kind of an asshole. But even assholes don't deserve to be harassed like that, so I guess there's that. They all got to do their own little thing. It was cute. I thought, it was fun to see how, they call in, Ketchy realizes he's no match, taking on them himself, clearly. Only feels a little embarrassed. He has to call in the others. Gets over his pride. Easily disposed of then by Rina and Satoko and Rika. I had to try really hard not to say Sakataro. So that happened. They all had their great powers, their specialties. Rina entered cute mode, had lightning quick, like, reflexes and power and strength. I believe Satoko just tainted their food, and then Rika was like ran ultimate bathroom defense, and then also I guess led them to the police office. It was great. And I think that's a recap of like basically the two stretches that happened, I think, on Saturday. Like I said, we'll read one here tonight and then call it a night. Because I can't be here long. So I think we have festival. I'm hoping for a festival. If I load in this game and it's not festival, oh shit. I really meant to say things differently. Miscommunication. Those stuff. Never driven to fear. Wasn't expecting this.
冷たい感情がむき出しの心を深く残酷にえぐってゆく。綿流し。なぜあの時とつぶやく後悔の言葉。それはもはや虚しい響きだった。
Trying to remember, did we get something like this before? Oh well. Rina! Wah, she says. I did load up the right thing, right? I don't trust myself that I loaded in the right thing. Did I? Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Everything is great.
違う言葉だった。本当に感じたいのは違う心だった。すれ違いが溝を生み、ためらいの気持ちが人を恐怖へと沈ませる。
Sometimes I don't trust myself.
冷たい感情がむき出しの心を深く
I wasn't expecting this. But maybe we got this before in like chapter 1.
綿流し。
Watsunagashi.
なぜあの時とつぶやく後悔の言葉。それはもはや虚しい響きだった。
I mean, going back to the time I disabled the CGs, I don't trust myself with anything now. I can't trust myself to do anything. Alright, Rina, what? It's... I'm adjusting audio. It's Kichi-kun! Good morning, good morning! Rina was ecstatically waving her arms at me, already brimming with energy. Adjusting audio again. Alright, what do you mean good morning? It's already evening. Just say hello or something. But, this is the first time I've seen you today, so I think good morning is right. It's right. I think that's sound logic. First time you see someone, just say good morning. It's fine. I got it. Okay, then good morning it is. Good morning, Rina. I grabbed Rina's head and rubbed it with my hand. Oh, she got close to the camera. I grabbed Rina's head and rubbed it with my... Oh, I read that. She squirmed, reveling in the motion like a cat. Back up. Hey, Aki-chan. Sorry about yesterday. Left without telling you. Now, Mion, understandably, she acted for a bit like things didn't bother her. You know, she was doing her thing. I think she was told, like, hey... I think actually Rina said, hey, she's gonna try to act like that what happened last couple days didn't even happen. So try to just ignore... She said, Mion's gonna try to ignore it, you just act like it didn't happen, and we'll be okay. And then, of course, my alarm bells went off at the time on Saturday, because I was like, oh, that's just like in Chapter 1, sorta, where Kechi was like, hey, Rina's acting strange. But that's just a different Rina, not the Rina I know. If I act like nothing happened, nothing different happened, then we'll be okay. Spoiler alert, things did not go okay. So, my head was like, oh, it's like almost parallel. Is the main story going to be that, like, or a subplot of this story going to be, hey, if something bad happens, don't just hold on to it and then try to put it away in your brain like it never happened. Something about trauma, something. Don't just, you know, compartmentalize like different happenings that make you upset. I don't know. I'm waving my arm around. You can't see, but I'm doing motions to explain what I'm trying to say. Anyway, Mion says, oh, she already said, oh yeah, so she left. She went to like a tent or something. She was like, fuck, Shion's here. I hate Shion. She's holding a conversation with Kechi. She was like, I'm just gonna fuck off into like a tent or something with some other people, I think. And then I think once all was said and done, I think he tried to find her, and she was gone. So I think that's what she's saying here.
No,
it's my fault. Sorry for making you wait so long. Are you talking about setting up for the festival yesterday? How was it, Kechi-kun? Did you do your job properly? The slight muscle pain throughout my body and my sluggish movements are already obvious. I did great. I'm pretty worn out now, though. I grin dryly, and the three of us break out into laughter. Where are Satoko and Rika-chan? Are we meeting up with them at the festival? Yep. Rika-chan's been there since yesterday because she has such an important job. I think Satoko-chan stayed with her, so they're already at the shrine. Right, I just remembered. Today was Rika-chan's big performance. She'd been practicing especially hard for this day. As her friend, I need to make sure I went and cheered her on. Alright, let's go right away. Yeah! To the festival. As we got closer to the shrine, we started passing by more people and seeing a lot of parked cars. It began to get noisier too. Thought I could hear something like a Bond dance song. Bond dance. Without being able to restrain my impatience, I dashed up the entire flight of stone stairs. Kechi-kun, you're going too fast. Wait for me. Man, Kechi-chan, you're such a little kid. He's excited about the festival. Whoa, the shrine grounds, they were packed with people. It was a festival if I ever saw one. Wow, they went all out this year too. Amazing. They're coming from Hinamizawa. Huh? The bedridden old man from the Kimiyoshi branch family's here too? Just like completely empty. It's just the three of them there. They're just like I think that old guy went home from Watanagashi last year and stayed in bed ever since. Yeah, there were a lot of villagers here that I didn't really know. They must have all been pouring in just for today. Oh! Now, if I'm recalling my facts correctly, unless I'm misunderstanding, we learned in the first chapter that this festival got more and more popular because of the stories associated with it. Something along the lines of like, if you didn't go, that was bad luck or a bad omen, and then you ran the risk of potentially being chosen then as a person who would then die or get demoned away. Something along those lines. It was something like, I thought there was some nugget dropped, I think, in the first chapter where it was like, hey, more and more people come from outside because it's like a way to make sure that you, and that's why back when in the first chapter, there was that one moment where I think after the festival, Ketchy went home and his parents were like, we couldn't make the festival, something. I thought that was like a death mark. I was like, oh shit, his parents are gonna die? Crazy. I don't think that ended up happening. Well, no, this is not. I didn't think that ended up happening. His parents definitely didn't die, so I don't know what happened there. But it seemed like there was an obvious death mark at some point, so I don't know. I'm all over the place about thinking about it, but whatever. Arena says, "Oh,
Satoko-chan da!
It's Satoko-chan!
Hi!
Hey!
Ara, minasan de gozaimasu no.
Oh, if it isn't everyone.
Konnichiwa desu wa.
Yes, hello to you all.
Yo, Satoko.
Yo, Satoko.
今日はすごい人出だよな。はぐれて迷子になるなよ。
There's a lot of people today. Don't get lost in the crowd, okay? You tiny
誰が
child.
迷子になるんですの？
Who do you even think you're talking to? Satoko, too, seems somehow energetic. Of course, I'm the same way.
あれ？リカちゃんは？まだ自由時間でしょ？
Huh? Where's Rika-chan? She still has free time, doesn't she?
リカは村長さんたちと挨拶してましたですわ。
Rika was giving her respects to the mayor and the other important people.
すぐに来るでございますわよ。
She shall come before long. I see. Rika-chan is the shrine maiden for today's festival, after all. It's probably a pain for her to say hello to all the elders.
実に大変なのですよ。
There she is. Alright, it really is a pain.
こんにちはなのです。
Hello, everyone.
はう
Rina acting, as expected. Ha ha!
リカちゃん。
Rika-chan!
お持ち帰り。
I want to take you home. Rika-chan wore an immaculate shrine maiden outfit that looked fresh off the shelves. It was a perfect fit for her somehow mystical appearance.
どう？
How does it fit?
丈とか長すぎない？
It's not too long, is it?
バッチャからもしも袖がかかるようならって安全ピンを預かってきてるんだけど。
My grandma gave me some safety pins just in case the sleeves are too long.
大丈夫なのです。
It's alright.
実に快適なのですよ。
It really is comfortable. As she spoke, she began to do some twists and stretches.
いいね、いいよね、これかわいいよね。は
It's great, it's so cute. Ha! There was approximately one person here getting a nosebleed from watching Rika-chan move.
ケイチ君は可愛いと思わないかな、かな。
Ketchikun, don't you think she's cute? Don't you?
思わないならペダロになっちゃうからお持ち帰り。
If you don't, then she'll be all mine, and I'll take her home with me. Also, I threw out this theory like way earlier, and I'm still sticking to it. It's maybe not the craziest theory I have so far, but honestly, Rina being like one of those people with the cute aggression thing, where like, you know, she's just overcome with like cuteness or something, like the feeling of like overwhelmed by cute, where she like takes it out aggressively, like set to max. Like, I don't know, maybe Rina's like a killer, and when she sees the cute stimulus, overloads her brain, drives her to murder someone. I still think that might be a possibility. I don't want to shelve that theory that I have, you know? I'm holding on to that one.
すごく可愛いと
I
思う
think
ぞ
it's possible. Because she says, I think she's really cute.
かなり活かす。
Totally cool.
不敬のふりをして写真を撮りまくりたいくらいだ。
Enough that I want to pretend to be your big brother or dad and take pictures with her.
2点から撮影して立体視できるようにすれば、立体の生リカちゃんが自宅でいつでも眺め放題。
If we take a picture from two different places and make it stereoscopic, we can eat, or rather, stare at, a real-life Rika-chan at our houses whenever we want.
いいね、いいね、いいね。
That sounds great. That sounds fantastic. Rina's eyes and mine glittered with stars as our noses bled, and we drooled.
リカ、あいつらに近寄ると大変ですわよ。
Rika, you'd best stay away from them.
地下室とかに閉じ込められるかもしれないのです。
Yes, or I might get locked away in a basement somewhere.
その割にはリカちゃん楽しそうだけど。
You look like you're enjoying it though, Rika-chan.
ミーがひどいことを言うのですよ。
Me, you're being harsh. We all laughed together again.
じゃ、もたもたしないで祭りを回るかね。
Okay, let's not hang around here. Let's get to the festival.
リカちゃんの出番までそう時間がないでしょ。
There's not much time left until Rika-chan's big debut.
そうだな。よっしゃ、行こうぜみんな。
You're right. Great. Let's go, everyone.
あ
Yeah! Dance time. Yo!
園崎のお嬢ちゃんじゃねえの。
If it isn't the daughter of Sonozaki.
食ってきな。
Eat up!
豚肉たっぷりの焼きそばだぜよ。
The yakisoba's packed full of pork.
今年はイカリングまで入ってるボリューム派よ。
This year we filled it up with as much as we could. We even put in fried calamari.
へい親父。
Gotcha, old timer.
今年の焼きそばもなかなか力作じゃないの。
The yakisoba this year looks like quite an achievement.
イカまで入れるとは今年は奮発してるね。
You have squid too? You put a ton of time into this, didn't you?
へえ、美味しいね、美味しいね。
Wow, it's tasty. It's tasty.
ああ、イカってのは食ってもうまいが、それ以上に匂いが香ばしいんだよな。
Yeah, squid is delicious, but the aroma is just fantastic.
軟弱になりがちな歯ごたえも実に見事に補ってる。
It wonderfully compensates for how soft it tends to be.
イカと豚肉のボリューム感は実に素晴らしい。
There's a delightful amount of squid and pork in it too.
悪くない出来だ。
Yep, not bad at all, I say.
へえ。
Meh. Haha.
ケイちゃんって何気に料理番組の司会とかに向いてるね。
Kei-chan, you sound like you could walk into a cooking program and become the host. Yeah.
ケイチくんが美味しそうに食べてるとなんだかいつもよりもずっと美味しそうに感じるもんね。
When I see Ketchikan acting like it's so good, it somehow tastes even better. Wait, we start already? Yup. We start early today. We start early tonight. Tonight, today, whatever. Same thing.
俺はうまいものはう
True.
まいっていう主義なんだよ。
I don't discriminate among delicious food.
だから俺がうまいっていうものはとりあえず試してみる価値があると思うぞ。
So anything I say is tasty. It's gotta be worth trying out, right?
ではケイチ、
Then, Ketchi,
この焼きそばの評価を改めてどうぞなのですよ。
please give us your opinion of this yakisoba again.
一言で言うとだ。
I'll do it in 2 words.
うまい。
Okay. I was waiting for another thing. Absolutely scrumptious.
胃袋がもう一つあるんなら迷わずもう一つ買ってるな。
If I had a second stomach, I'd buy another one right now. Having heard my 3-star rating, a whole line of people suddenly formed in front of the yakisoba stand.
おお、すごいよ。
Wow, that's amazing.
ケイちゃんがあんまりにも美味しそうに言うもんだから集客効果バッチリだわ。
Kei-chan said it was... Kei-chan said it was so good that a little crowd started to form. Not bad. It was nothing to brag about, but I still decided to stick out my chest and put on airs. Mm-hmm.
あら、そうなんですの？
Oh, is that so?
では、私も挑戦してみましたよ。
Then perhaps I should try it out.
おじさん、おじさん、たこ焼き一つくださいますこと？
Mister, could I perchance bother you for one takoyaki? Satoko bought a stick of takoyaki, balls of fried octopus from the adjacent stand, and after blowing on it, put one of them into her mouth.
どうかな、さとこちゃん。
How is it, Satoko-chan?
美味しい評価が出るなら、レナも買うよ。
If you give it a good rating, then Reno will buy it too. Chomp, chomp. Chew, chew. Gulp.
さあ、料理評論家の北条さとこ審査員のご感想をどうぞ。
Now, it's time for Inamazawa's very own food critic, Judge Satoko Hojo, to give her impressions.
うーん。
Though she was all for it a moment ago, Satoko hesitated to give her thoughts. Hey now, what's the matter? Everyone else takes one of their own and puts it into their mouths.
あれれ？
Huh?
レナのは外れだね。
Rena, is that Jip? Jip.
僕のも外れです。
Mine's bad too.
タコさんが入ってないのです。
There's no octopus in it. This takoyaki vendor? Could this be some sort of summer festival only octopus-free takoyaki stand? An evil takoyaki stand that skimped on the octopus because they figured it would make them good money today.
あ、私のには入ってたわ。
I don't think I've ever had takoyaki. I've had like calamari, but not takoyaki in takoyaki form. Mine has some. Yeah.
タコが入ってる分には十分うまいよ。
Yeah, it's pretty good considering there's octopus in it.
このタコなしたこ焼きをどう美味しそうに解説すればいいんですの？
How am I supposed to explain that this octopus-free takoyaki is any good? Everyone wondered about that. Our quizzical looks seemed to be drawing equally dubious stares from the people in line.
こんなのはどうかな？
How about this?
たこ焼きなのにタコが入ってないからとってもヘルシー。
Takoyaki without any octopus is really healthy.
タコの嫌いな人でも食べられる美味しいたこ焼き。
And even people who don't like octopus can eat this delicious takoyaki. After hearing that, several surprised guests left the line. Damn. It had the exact opposite effect.
じゃあ次は私が挑戦するよ。
Alright, then I'll give it a try next.
小麦粉やネギ、紅生姜の味などの素朴さをしっとりと味わわせてくれる自信作。
A self-inspired take on takoyaki, which you can clearly taste the simple flavors of the flour, green onions, and pickled ginger.
タコが入ってない分だけ素材の味が程よく。
The unaffected taste is bolstered by the absence of octopus. It wasn't that bad, but after hearing the "there's no octopus in it" clause, even more people left the line.
リカちゃんは何かいいコメントはあるか？
Rika-chan, any good comments?
率直でいいぞ。
You can be honest.
これで400円は高いのです。
400 yen is too much for this. That was too honest. Even more customers leave the line, dealing a lethal blow. Fuck this takoyaki stand, apparently. There are other takoyaki stands around, after all.
いやー、なんかその、私らとんでもないことをしてるような。
Well, I mean, we might not want to be doing this.
ほら、サトコ。
Hey, Satoko.
あんたが始めたことなんだから、ビシッとここで逆転させなさいよ。
You started all this, so give us a great big turnaround.
無理でございますわ。
I cannot do it.
タコの入っていないたこ焼きなんてどう褒めればいいんですの？
How do you expect me to lavish praise upon takoyaki without any octopus in it? You idiot. Satoko's angry outburst was the finishing blow.
お客さんみんないなくなっ
Uh,
ちゃった。
the customers are all gone.
あれれ、
Huh?
おじさん睨んでる。
The guy is staring at us.
なんでだろう、なんでだろう。
Why is that? Why is that? Huh? There's no saving this crowd. Perhaps I, Kachimai-sama, will lend a generous hand.
圭一ならきっとなんとかできますですよ。
Kichi-kun, you could do it.
タコなしたこ焼き屋さんを助けてあげてほしいのです。
We want you to say the takoyaki vendor who didn't put any octopus in.
笑顔でトゲのあることを言うな。
Don't smile as you say something so bitter.
まあわかった。
Alright, fine.
俺がプロの技を見せてやるからよく見てろよ。
This may be the only chance you'll get to see a pro at work, so watch carefully. I shoved the stick into an octopus-less takoyaki and crammed it into my mouth. As before, there wasn't any octopus in it, but Mion's had some in it. That was the important point.
このたこ焼き屋の親父さんは本当の意味でたこ焼きが好きなんだ。
The man who runs this takoyaki stand, he truly loves takoyaki in every meaning of the word.
いや、愛してると言っていい。
No, could even be said that he adores it. Huh? Question mark, exclamation points. Everyone gasped in surprise, including the takoyaki vendor glaring at us.
あの親父さんは本当にたこ焼きが大好きなんだ。
This man truly does love takoyaki.
大好きだからこそいい加減なたこ焼きを作りたくないんだ。
And because he loves it, he doesn't want to create half-hearted, random ones.
そうだね、親父さん。
Isn't that right? Takoyaki vendor looked down, unsure. Those watching or listening intently wanted to know why octopusless takoyaki deserved such a high rating.
でもケイチさん、そんなにたこ焼きが大好きならどうしてタコなしたこ焼きなんか作りますの？
Kichi-san, if he really and truly loved takoyaki that much, why did he make takoyaki without octopus at all?
たこ焼きに対する裏切りではございませんの？
Is he not betraying that very takoyaki?
そうだな。
You may be right.
ある意味裏切りだ。
In one sense, it is a betrayal.
だが、これは親父さんにとっての最大限の妥協点なんだ。
However, it's the best possible compromise this man could find.
親父さんは今日だって本当のたこ焼きを作ってるよ。
This man is making real takoyaki today, as he always does.
でも、それはこの中のほんの一つか二つでしかない。
However, only one or two of them on each stick are the real ones.
まあ、
What a
そうだ
spin.
ね。
Well, you're right.
私の食べた一つにはタコは入ってたし、
The one I ate had octopus in it,
タコが入ってる分にはそんなに悪い味じゃなかったよ。
and considering it did actually have it, didn't taste bad at all, you know?
そ
Right.
う。それが本物のたこ焼きだ。
That was a bona fide takoyaki.
それ以外のたこ焼きは8個入ってなきゃたこ焼きじゃないという一般人の先入観への最大限の妥協なんだ。
And as for the other ones, it was the biggest compromise he could make against the biases of the general populace, who all think that there need to be 8 pieces on the stick, or else it's not real takoyaki.
ケイチ君の言う意味がわからないよ。
Huh? Kichi-kun, I don't understand what you mean.
どうして本物は一つで他は偽物なのかな？かな？
Rina, shut up, I'm trying to make this work. Why is one of them the real thing and all the other ones are fakes? Why?
その秘密はタコにあるんだ。
The secret lies in the octopus.
親父さん、このタコ、本物の明石のタコだね。
Mister, this octopus. It's true Akashi octopus, isn't it?
近年、明石のタコの水揚げは激減して、とても高騰しているんだ。
In recent years, the number of octopuses caught in Akashi has decreased, and their prices have risen drastically. Octopuses? Is it not octopi? Octopus? Whatever.
たこ焼きなんかにとても使えないような、とても高い値段になってしまってるんだ。
Shouldn't say anything because I'm not sure. The prices are now so high that you wouldn't think of using them in takoyaki. Then the man who had been looking down this whole time mumbled.
そうよ。
Yeah, that's right.
明石のタコはすごく高いんだよ。
Akashi octopus. It's very expensive.
でも親父さんは明石のタコにこだわったんだ。
But this man absolutely had to have the Akashi octopus.
安物のいい加減なタコを使えばいくらでもごまかせるのに。
He could have bought much worse quality octopus for cheaper, as much as he wanted, and he would have still been able to fool everyone.
明石のじゃないのに明石という上りを立てて販売してるインチキたこ焼き屋はいくらでもあるのに。
There are plenty of other scamming takoyaki vendors who claim theirs are from Akashi, even though they're not.
親父さんはごまかさなかった。嘘をつかなかった。
But this man wouldn't accept it. He wouldn't tell lies.
タコは明石。
Akashi octopus are supreme. I mean,
この一点だけを堅くなに譲らなかったんだ。
he would never relinquish his one stubborn conviction.
親父さんはたこ焼きを愛してた。
This man loved takoyaki.
だから嘘をつけなかった。
That's why he never lied.
でもどうしても一点だけ強いられる妥協点があったんだ。
Yet, there was one point that he absolutely had to compromise on.
それは何ですの？
What might that be?
数さ。
The number.
たこ焼きってのは一船8個がポピュラーだ。
Popular opinion is that a stick of takoyaki should have 8 pieces on it.
いくら本物の明石のタコだからって言って400円で1個だけってわけにはいかないだろう。
Even if it's real Akashi octopus, he couldn't charge 400 yen for just one piece, could he?
でも8個にしなくては買ってもらえない。
If he didn't have 8 pieces, nobody would buy them.
だから親父さんは涙を飲んだ。
This man wept over it.
本物のたこ焼きを一つ作るために残り7個に嘘をつくしかなかったんだ。
In order In order to make just one true piece of takoyaki, he wouldn't ever let himself lie through the other 7. Oh, whoa, the Octo-Street Takoyaki vendor burst into tears. I gently clap one of his shoulders.
No
matter what anyone else says, I'll never forget how genuine you are. You, sir, are a true vendor of takoyaki. You are the only one in the world with the right to call himself that. Clap, clap. Clap, 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 clap. As I embraced the shoulders of this man, shedding his manly tears, those watching delivered a round of applause, moved by my speech. Everyone? I beg of you, please, eat some of this true takoyaki vendor's takoyaki. If we don't treasure genuine men like this, then how can we protect the true path of the takoyaki? If nobody else will eat them, then I will eat them all! Everyone watching is lining up. Keiichi-kun, you did it! You did it!
たこ焼きが美味しそうに感じたってより、ケイちゃんの味演説が面白かったからだろうね。
I think it's more they thought Kei-chan's propaganda speech was interesting rather than that the takoyaki actually looked good.
ケイちゃんってガマの油売りとかやったらかなりウケるかもしれない。
Kei-chan, you could probably sell plain old rocks if you tried.
スーパーの実演販売でもやればウケそうですよ。
You would do well at product demonstrations in a supermarket.
怪しい万能包丁とか売りつける仕事に向いてそうですわね。
I suspect you'd be good at selling off suspicious wonder knives. Absolutely stunned at my successful pitch, the guy manning the stall next to this one called out to me. Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys, do that for my sweets too. Great. You all get the gist of it, right? It's your turn this time, Rina. Alright, these kids should not be doing free advertising labor for these people. Come on now. Give them a cut of the money or something. Let's go. That's your time, Rina. Okay, I'll do my best. When apricot sweets are cold, they're very, very good. The apricot is sitting so quietly and nicely on top of the syrup. It's so cute. I want to take it home. It looks like she lost herself in this midway through. But a girl giving it such natural praise was itself bringing in some customers. A line was quickly forming behind Rina. Next up is the okonomiyaki stand. Satoko, you're up. Rather, well... The crunch of the fried tempura batter mixed with yakisoba is simply to die for. With a huge piece of bacon laid on top, when you bite into it, it all comes flooding out. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Yeah! That's freaking great! Now I want to try some too. Then, a huge line formed at my words. What on earth is this? So basically, all these onlookers are just following us around to all the stands. When people hear about food from others and then try it for themselves, it tastes a lot better than it normally would. So that's it. Even Rika-chan was gorging herself on the food, getting sauce on the bib she'd put on to prevent her shrine maiden outfit from getting dirty. Nice! The older guys are getting into it too. Okay, Kichan, which one should I do?
よっしゃミオンはさらにその隣の露店へ行けミオンの底力を見せてみろ
Right. Mion, you go to the stand next to that. Show them the depths of your power.
あれでもケイチ君お隣のお店は
Huh? But Kichan, the stall next to that is... Whoops. A goldfish scooping stand. A bit out of our element.
いや部活の部長たるもの相手が何であれ逃げられないね
No, as club president, I won't flee no matter what or who no matter who or what my opponent is.
やってみるよ
Mix them. Let's get started.
ミオンさんのお手並み拝見でございますわ
I look forward to a splendid performance, Mion-san. The onlookers were also watching Mion with hopeful eyes.
いらっしゃい
Welcome, welcome.
はいよ網とワン
Here's your net and bowl.
よしやるぞ
Okay, here we go.
金魚はみんな息がいいね
The goldfish are energetic today.
実に美味しそう
They really look delicious.
この小さいのなんかそのままボリボリと生でいけちゃうよね
Small things like these, you could crunch them down whole. Mutter, mutter.
ミオンさんは何を言ってるんでございますの
Mion-san, what in the world are you saying?
みーちゃん食べてたの
Mi-chan, you eat them?
去年レナからもらったのも食べちゃったの
Did you eat the one Rena caught last year too?
違う私そんなこと言ってない
No, I didn't say anything like that. Mion said something red and she shook it vehemently in denial.
いやでも今ミオンお前自分で言ったぞ実に美味しそうだって
Well, I mean, you just said so yourself that they really look delicious.
ええ確かに言いました
Oh fuck, Shion showing up. Here to make everyone pissed off. Alright, to kick Mion when she's down. Shion says, yes, you did indeed say so.
お姉って雑食ですから口に入れば何でも食べちゃうんです
My sister is omnivorous. She eats anything that can go in her mouth.
美味しいなら今度僕も試してみるのです
If they taste good, then maybe I'll try one next time.
ダメだよリカちゃんお腹壊しちゃうよ
No, Rika-chan, don't! You'll get sick! Wait a second. Hey, what the hell? Shion, how long have you been here?
はーいケイちゃんにお姉にみんなこんばんは
Let's see. It's fine. Hey, Aki-chan, Mion, everyone, good evening. Where'd you come from, Shion?
焼きそば屋さんの時からずっとです
I've been here since the bit with the Yokosuba.
お姉たちは騒がしいからすぐに見つけられました
You're all so loud that I found you right away.
もう
Jeez.
あんたは関係ないでしょ
You've got nothing to do with this, do you?
早くどっかへ消えなさいよ
Go somewhere else already.
もうお姉もあまり私を邪険にしないでください
I had too much. I was looking at another thing that I had to take care of, and then I was like, ugh. Alright, geez, Mion, don't treat me so cruelly. Alright, the one thing I'm actually curious to see, and I don't know if the story is going to go in this direction, but now I'm very curious how much it plays into the whole... How far will Kechi, like, rebuke and push away Shion, and then in turn, how much does Shion try to, like, wedge herself into... both Kechi and this friend group, despite clearly Mion's like displeasure for lack of a better term. Or to put it lightly, I guess I should say. I'm very curious how that whole thing kind of plays out here. Shion says, "Geez, Mion, don't treat me so cruelly." Right, Ki-chan? You're okay with me being here, right? Already, right after I say that, she's trying to pit us. She's trying to. That's so evil. My guy. She asked, grabbing my arm and pushing her chest into it. Oh boy, bounce. Oh boy. Oh god, he can't catch a break. Kechi-kun, you're a pervert. Your nose is bleeding. When you squish a jelly donut, the jelly comes out, right? It's the same. This isn't something I have any control over. Ew. Pussy. Is that right? Then will more come out if I squeeze harder? No. No. Squeeze? Shion, her cleavage. It's right up against my chest. Drip. Drip. Mion screaming in the background. Shion, what the heck are you trying to do? I can't believe this is happening at my wholesome festival. God. Shion needs to back the fuck up. Satoko says, how vulgar. I seem to have misjudged you. What about my flat chest? What do you mean, Rika? You don't have to say that. Go away. Don't say that. Don't add that to the conversation. We're already having problems. I don't need then Rika to add like a side problem. Oh my god. Rika-chan clasps onto my other arm too. Rub. Ugh. I hate reading this. Alright, a plentiful. What the hell, dude? Alright, a plentiful, sorry. I need to be professional. Plump feeling on my left shoulder and the sour sensation of a... Ew, and the sour... Ew, I'm throwing up in my mouth reading ahead slightly the rest of the sentence. Like, I've got, like the gag reflex is happening, currently. Fuck. Alright. And the sour sensation of a young, unripe fruit on my right. And I'm pretty sure I just got put on some FBI or some kind of list. And this recorded stream is going to be used as evidence somehow against me. That's a sentence that should not be said. Alright. Get me out of here. Boom, boom, bang. Shion, Rika-chan, and I, our faces now bruised, fell to the ground, limbs sprawled. Thank you, Rina. Nice job, Rina. Everyone's so dirty. Rina punched me. It really hurts. Rika, you get what you deserve. Sheesh. Now that Shion was here, the energy around us had increased by 120%. Foo-foo. Ah ha 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 ha. Your friends are so much fun, Mion. I never get bored of them. Ugh, right. If you weren't here, it would be way more fun, you know.
もっと一緒にいたいけど、あんまりケイちゃんを誘惑すると本当にお姉に噛みつかれちゃいそうです。
I want to stay with you all, but if I continue seducing Ki-chan, my sister looks like she's literally going to bite my head off.
だから私、一時退却しますね。
So I'll retreat for now.
また来ます。
I'll be back.
じゃあね、お姉。
See you, Mion.
二度と来るなー。
Don't be back!
塩負けしよう。
Get the salt! Someone get the salt! After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran away into the crowd of people and disappeared. This is just the small slight thing, and it's such a tiny thing to me. But this game constantly keeps referring technically to them as Mion being the older sister and Shion being the younger sister, and I get that that's a thing with twins, but I don't know. I don't generally like saying one twin is older than the other one. If they're twins, if they're actual twins, right? I don't like the whole determining oh, even though technically yes, the whole seconds older, one comes out first, whatever the case actually is. It just always sits weird with me. I'm always you guys are the same age. I would rather them just be not even say, oh, this is my younger sister or this is my older. I would just be this is my sister, my twin, whatever. Here, after teasing her older sister, I get why, whatever. But when you say oh, my older sister, you imagine an older sister. I know it's semantics with words, but I just envision you're trying to say something oh, the older sister, more wiser maybe perhaps, or whatever the case point you're trying to make, but whatever. I'm yelling at clouds here. After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran away in the crowd of people and disappeared.
なんだか珍しいミオンさんを見た気がしますわ。
I feel that I have borne witness to a rare side of Mion-san.
しーちゃんが一緒だとみーちゃんなんだか可愛いね。
When Mi-chan is with Shi-chan, she looks kinda cute. Rina smiled happily, earning her a whack on the head from Mion.
アホなこと言ってんじゃないよ。次行くよ、次。
Don't say dumb stuff. Let's get to the next stand already. We went about just like that, really noisy and lively, to the other stands. We were paying money towards the beginning, but midway through, the guys running the shops thought we were just too funny, and we ended up being able to fool around without paying much more. Thump. The vigorous sound of a big taiko drum echoed through the air.
リカ、そろそろ時間みたいでございましたよ。
Rika, it looks like it's time.
あ、いよいよなんだね。
Yep, looks like it. Right, it's just about time for Rika-chan to appear in the offertory dance.
ちょっとドキドキしてるのです。
I've got experience with taiko drums. I'm a little nervous.
信じなって。
Believe in yourself. Oh, sorry. Believe in yourself. Sorry, Mia.
リカちゃんが流してきた汗は絶対に無駄になんかならないから。
All of your sweat will definitely amount to something, Rika-chan. Mion slapped hard on Rika-chan's back.
そうですわ。リカはきっとやり遂げますわ。
That's right. You'll do fantastic, Rika.
頑張るのですよ。
I'll do my best.
その息だよ。
Yeah, that's a spirit. I balled my hand into a fist and raised it into the air.
応援してるぞリカちゃん。ファイトオンだぜ。
We're rooting for you, Rika-chan. Go for it. Yeah, remember?
ファイトオン
Go for it. Yay. Yay. Rika-chan gave the best smile I'd ever seen, then pivoted on her heel and ran off.
じゃあ私たちも行こうよ。
Okay, we should get going too.
そうだな。応援してやろうぜ。
Right, let's go cheer her on.
ダメですのよ。
You mustn't.
演舞中は静かにしていないといけませんでございますわよ。
You must keep silent during the performance. I got it, jeez. Rubbed a hand through her hair. She was worried about her good friend up to the end.
なら急いで行かないと。
Then we better hurry.
いい場所がなくなっちゃうよ。
All the good spots will be taken.
行こう。
Come on. Mion ran off and everyone else followed a moment later. A large amount of people had already clustered into the tight space to watch the edifying dance.
こりゃすごい人出だな。
Wow, this is a lot of people. I I turned around to look at everyone else, but nobody was there. Where did everyone go? They probably got lost among all these people. Finally, I spotted the back of Mion's head on the other side of the crowd. Oh no, it's gonna be Shion or something, isn't it? It definitely doesn't look like I can get over there. Well, we got separated. No big deal. We can just meet back up when Rika-chan's dance is over. I gave up on finding the others and wandered around, trying to look for a place where I'll be able to see better. Didn't take long for me to realize I'd have to settle for watching between the heads of the people in front of me, though. Thump! Once again, an even louder, I said. An even louder taiko drum resounded. This one was to announce the beginning of the dance. I couldn't see very well, but it sounded like Rika-chan had come on stage. It seemed like Rika-chan had come on the stage with the elders who were in priestly garb. I heard low exhalations of admiration, and the seniors rubbing their prayer beads in gratitude. Everyone's heads were in the way, and I couldn't see. It was really frustrating. We should have cut playtime short and come here to get good spots earlier. After Rika-chan intoned the prayer, she took the festival hoe and walked to the pile of quilts stacked on the altar. That's right. The point of the ceremony was to purify bedding and to hold a memorial service, wasn't it? Then, the solemn offertory dance began. She had practiced using a mochi pounding mallet. The awkwardly shaped festival hoe Rika-chan held seemed really heavy. Back and forth, up and down, it was doubtlessly difficult to even lift in the air, but she sweated and waved, raised and dropped it again and again. She couldn't just deal with it and do it grudgingly. As a shrine maiden, she needed to retain the dignity and solemnity present at this festival. There must be a ton of pressure on Rika-chan's shoulders right now. Damn, why am I cheering her on from a place I can barely see her? I'm her friend, so I should be right up in the best spot rooting for her.
Kei-chan, kochi.
No, don't sit next to the devil. Ki-chan, over here. Someone tugged lightly on the back of my shirt collar. It was Shion. She beckoned me outside the crowded ring of people. See, the thing is, Kechi at this point knows that the off limits at this point. I mean, I hate to be like this, but like, you can't even fraternize with the alleged enemy at this point because Mion doesn't deserve this. Mion, best girl, according to me. She hates Shion. You can't even be like, oh, I'm gonna sit next to Shion here. It's just a problem. It's just a problem. She had a mischievous grin on her face, and I took it as her saying she knew a good place nobody else knew of.
Shion? Nanda?
Shion, what's up?
Shh. 黙ってついてきてくださいね.
Just be quiet and come with me. After she told me so, she ran in a big detour around the throng. Man, it's great to have someone who knows the lay of the land here at times like this. That's one way of putting it, Kechi. Impressed though I nearly lost sight of her right away. No more getting separated from me. I ran after her so that I wouldn't be left behind. God damn it. As I wondered in anticipation what kind of secret spot Shion had in mind, we left the crowd of people and went around to the back of the shrine grounds.
Oi, どこ行くんだよ?
Hey, wait. Where are we going?
これじゃどんどん離れちゃってるぞ.
We're getting further and further away. Oh boy. Oh god, I don't like where this is going. Shh.
黙ってついてくればわかりますから.
Just stay quiet and follow me. You'll understand soon. Shion gave me a wink that reminded me of Mion as she said that. No sign of people, not much moonlight. It was dark. We had gotten pretty far away from the crowd of people on the shrine grounds. How are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance from here? Oh, you sweet, sweet innocent child, Kechi.
そっか。どこか高いところがあるんだな。
I see. There's some high spot around here, isn't there?
屋根の上とか、そういうところから見下ろそうって言うんだろう。
Like a rooftop or somewhere we can look down at it, right?
はい。なんで屋根に登んなくちゃいけないんです?
What? Why do I have to climb onto the roof?
だってそうじゃなかったらどうやってリカちゃんの演舞を見るんだよ。
Well, how else are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance?
リカちゃまの演舞なんか見たかったんですか?
Oh, this is like a this is like a double insult to the friend group because not only are you now fraternizing with Shion again, but you're being taken away from the dance, which the friends wanted to back up their friend Rika and experience the dance they needed to see. Ugh. You know what? If Shion gets murdered here in chapter 2, I will not shed a single tear. I will sleep easy that night. Alright, Shion says, did you really want to see Chama's dance?
ケイちゃん、ひょっとしてストライクゾーンものすごく低くありません？
Ki-chan, could it be that your strike zone is really low?
なんだか話が微妙に噛み合わないぞ。
I don't think we're understanding each other here.
お前は俺をリカちゃんの演舞がよく見える場所に案内してくれるんじゃないのか？
Weren't you going to show me somewhere I could see Rika-chan's dance from easily?
はい。誰もそんな約束してませんよ。
What? Who made that promise? No! What's going on? Why me? Why do I always misunderstand Shion? Is it my fault? Am I just reading the wrong things into it?
じゃあお前は俺をなんでこんなところに呼び出したんだよ。
Then why did you call me all the way out here? With an expression that indicated she wasn't fooling around, Shion pressed her index finger to my lips. Oh boy. Shion pressed her index finger to my lips and said slowly and quietly, "This place is a dark, dead, empty spot. You can't see it from the festival grounds, and now a male and female the same age are all alone together." Could this be? Shion, she's not planning something crazy again, is she?
あれを見てください。
Shh. Look over there. See? Shion whispered, pointing in the dark underbrush. And there we saw 2 figures, one male and one female.
なんだありゃ。まさか。
Is it Toмотake and the blonde lady like having sex in a bush or something? Is that what it is? That's my guess. I'm officially locking in my guess. Oh, what? What's that? Is that?
相敵の生現場に決まってるじゃないですか。
We're right at the scene of a rendezvous, of course.
ほらほら、よく見てください。
See? Look closely.
あれ、誰だかわかります？
Can you tell who they are? I mean, how many guy and girl pairs do we like know in this game, right? It's like Ketchi's mom and dad. It's the triangle of Shion, Mion, Ketchi, and then it's like Toмотake and the blind. I keep saying blonde now. Now I can't get out of my brain. Blonde. I peered intently into the dark at Shion's suggestion. Oh, it's Toмотake-san and Takano-san. Takano, that was her name. I should start saying Takano. The two of them were clearly breathing quietly and glancing around to make sure nobody knew they were there as they crouched before the entrance to a wooden storehouse-like building.
まさかシオン、これを見せたくて俺を呼んだのか？
Wait, Shion, could this be what you wanted to show me?
ケイちゃん、リカちゃまの演舞は毎年見られるけど、こういうのは二度とお目にかかれませんよ。
Ki-chan, you can see Rika-chama's dance any year, but you won't ever get another chance like this, okay? Genuinely the first person I've seen that does whisper. How many people have you watched? And then how many people, I mean, it was a very obvious, like, whisper thing. I'm just reading. I mean, I'm just trying my best. Seemed like the obvious thing to do. I would be more shocked people didn't whisper during that point, when it was very just whispering. It's like the least difficult thing I could do. I can barely make like 2.5 different voices for this whole thing with all these different characters. The least I could do is do a whisper into my mic. Do my best ASMR impression. I had thought the Sonozaki sisters each had their own personalities, but at times like this, they seemed all too similar.
俺は帰るぞ。二度とこんなのに呼ぶなよな。
I'm going back. Don't call me for something like this again.
今動いたらバレちゃいますって。
If you move now, they'll see us. At our noisy argument, Takano-san suddenly turned around. Oh boy. Oh boy.
あらあら、どなたかしら？
Oh my, who might that be? We held our breaths and tried to wait it out, but it seemed like Takano-san was now acutely aware of our presence. Shion and I exchanged glances, then gave up and climbed out from behind the bush.
どうもこんばんは。
Well, hello there.
お月様の綺麗ないい夜ですね。
The moon sure is beautiful tonight, isn't it?
あらあら、
My.
シオンちゃんに前原くんじゃない。
If it isn't Shion-chan and Myra-kun.
こんばんは。月の綺麗な夜ね。
Good evening. Yes, the moon certainly is pretty.
おやおや、ケイチ君も隅に置けないね。
What's this? Ketchikun. Sure, smart, you know that?
こんなところで相引きかい？
Having a secret date in a place like this?
だとしたら、僕たちとんでもないお邪魔をしちゃったかな。
Then I guess we accidentally interrupted something important. Toмотake, you're not helping the situation at all. Shut up. Shut your face. You're the ones who were meeting up secretly. Toмотake-san and Takano-san laughed to themselves, and it got to my nerves for some reason.
ってことは、富武さんたちは相引きしてたってわけじゃないみたいですね。
Wait, so you two weren't having a little rendezvous then?
それはもちろん違うよ。
Of course we weren't.
そういうロマンスも嫌いじゃないけどね。
Though, I don't dislike that kind of romance. Alright, Toмотake, I don't need to know your kinks, alright? Honestly, why the hell is he telling this to them? Shut the fuck up, Toмотake. Put the camera down. Stop taking pictures of people without them knowing. Stop being a freak with the blonde lady. There's too much happening in this chapter. Oh my god. Takano laughs.
残念だけど、あなたたちが覗き見したくなるような相引き現場じゃないのよ。
Unfortunately, this wasn't the location of rendezvous either for either of you would want to see.
期待に添えなくて申し訳ないわね。
Sorry for not living up to your expectations.
相引き現場じゃなかったら何してるんですか？
If this wasn't a rendezvous, then what were you doing?
富武さん、今扉の南京錠いじってませんでした？
Toмотake-san, were you messing around with the padlock on the door just now? Huh? After she said that, I looked at the two of them again, and I definitely saw it. Is this where, like, maybe I'm drawing too, like, information. One thing that was brought up, I think, on Saturday's stream was that the original, like, devices, I don't know what to call them, original devices, things that were used to put people in the swampy thing and let them drown or something was, like, stored and locked up. And is this that place? I could be remembering things incorrectly or assuming too much here at this point, but that would be my guess. They were hunched in front of a warehouse door, fiddling with a pretty heavy-looking padlock.
バレちゃしょうがないな。
Guess we've been found out, huh?
僕たちが倉庫破りをしてたなんて内緒だよ。
We were trying to break into the warehouse, but don't tell anyone, alright?
内緒って、それ、泥棒ってことですか？
Don't tell anyone. Are you thieves or something? I demanded unthinkingly just because of how absently Toмотake-san was grinning.
いやーね。
Nah, never.
泥棒ってのは物を盗む人たちのことでしょ。
Thieves are people who steal things, right?
別に私たちは物を持ち出そうとしているわけじゃないのよ。
It's not like we were trying to take anything out of here.
へえ。
I see.
じゃあ何のために鍵開けなんかしてるんですか？
Then why are you trying to unlock the door?
ここ、開かずの細具殿ですよね。
I think I was right. This is the forbidden storehouse for ritual tools.
フルデ家とほんの一握りの人間しか入ることが許されないっていう。
They say only the Furude family and a mere handful of others are allowed in. Forbidden storehouse. Wait, did I skip the line? No, I didn't. I'm good. I took a few steps back at that and looked at the entire warehouse. It certainly looked like one, built removed from any signs of people, almost as if in secret. It was filthy, revealing how little was ever opened, and it was built to be durable, giving it a strange, overpowering impression. Now that I looked at it more closely, it was certainly different than normal warehouses.
ここはね、
This place?
細具殿といってね、
They're called ritual implements.
細具をしまっている倉庫なの。
Basically, this is a warehouse where they store such tools used in rituals.
いえ、細具を祀っている神殿と言ってもいいかもしれないわね。
Well, more accurately, Maybe it's a temple where the implements are enshrined.
リカちゃんが奉納演舞で使っている祭事用のクワも今日までこの中にしまわれていたものよ。
The ritual hoe Rika-chan is using for the offertory dance was inside here until today.
もちろん、フルデ家の人間以外は
Of course, if anyone but the Furude family enters,
汚れを持ち込むから立ち入り禁止の不可侵領域。
they bring impurity into it, so absolutely no one is allowed a single step inside it.
聖域なの。
It's a sanctuary. Shouldn't we absolutely not be coming to a place like this then? However, Takano is wearing a childlike expression, an innocent smile at best, and terribly cruel grin at worst.
私、ひなみ沢の昔語りや伝承を趣味で研究してるって言ったわよね。
God, Takano and Toмотake are just a couple of freaks in way more ways than one, basically. Like, I don't know what the fuck is their deal, but like, okay, honestly, Higurashi is just full of characters so far that seem like shit stirrers in their own special ways. You have Takano and Toмотake, you have Shion, you have even Mion, you have the fucking Kechi's parents, they're weird too. The teacher, she's fucking bizarre. Just a village of freaks, honestly. Just everyone here, everyone involved. They all need Jesus. I don't remember if I read that. I told you I was researching Hinamizawa's folk tales and legends out of an interest in them, didn't I?
私の知的興味のさまざまな答えがこの中に詰まってるの。
A lot of the answers to questions I'm curious about are hidden away inside here.
この中に入れるチャンスを今日までずっと待ってたんだから。
I've waited all this time until today for this chance. A chance. Everybody's eyes were fixed on the dance at the shrine grounds today. This was the ultimate blind spot.
へえ。
Huh? I see.
富武さんに鍵開けの技術があるなんて知りませんでした。
I didn't know you had lockpicking skills, Toмотake-san.
あ、よしてくれよ。
Stop it.
僕だっていやいややってるんだよ。
I don't want to be doing this, okay?
付き合わせてしまってごめんなさいね。
Sorry for taking you along with me, but
でも、二郎さんのおかげよ。
this was all thanks to you, Jiro-san.
感謝してるわ。
I really am grateful.
やれやれ。
Heesh.
でも高野さん、こういうのはこれっきりにしてくれよ。
This is the only time. Understand, Takano-san?
こういうところに黙って入り込むのは、やっぱり気が引けるよ。
I don't want to be sneaking into places like this. Now, the way he's acting, this kind of almost feels like... Now I'm probably very misreading this, but this almost read like if I was in this situation, like if I was Kechi right now, the way he's like overly being like, oh, I didn't want to be a part of this. It's like overacting. Like he's just like, oh, we'll never do it again, and we're only going to do it this time. And we're only saying that because we're in front of two other little kids and they could get us in trouble kind of thing. But they honestly, this pair gives me off the impression that they do this all the time. They leave this place, they go back to Tokyo or wherever the fuck they go. They're fucking... They might as well be like... I think I said this last stream, but like... They scream like true crime podcasters. In the worst of ways. They do this shit all the time. Anyway. Press the button.
やっぱり二郎さんはいい人ね。
You really are a good person, Jiro-san. Clink. Toмотake-san undid the padlock and placed it on the side. Or to the
開い
side.
たよ。
It's open.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
いよいよね。
At long last. Takano-san gulped. With an unusually excited air about her, she gave the heavy door a shove. The sharp smell of mold and dust flowed out from the gap in the doors. They just lost a couple years off their lives with that. The dust and mold. I had claimed curses didn't exist, but in this situation, I could believe in them. If we went into such a holy place with our shoes on, it seems like we could be punished somehow.
どう？
How about it?
あなたたちも共犯なんだし。
Your accomplices too.
せっかくだから一緒に見学しない？
You came all the way here, so why not come in and take the tour?
ひなみ沢の皮脂を埋める 貴重な文化遺産の見物会よ。
It'll be a little field trip to a museum of precious cultural artifacts that conceal the secret history of Hinamizawa.
今日だけの限定会館。
And it's only open today.
別に俺たち共犯ってわけじゃ。
We're not accomplices or anything.
面白いと思いません？
Aren't you interested though?
ねえ、覗いてみましょう。
Of course, Shion is like the devil on his shoulder. Like, oh yeah, we gotta fucking go. She doesn't care. No consequences for them. Aren't you interested though? Come on, let's take a peek. Shion said, predictably, linking her arms with mine.
でもこれは絶対いけないことだよ。
But we definitely shouldn't be doing this.
神聖な倉庫なんだろ？
This is a holy warehouse, isn't it?
細具殿って言ったっけ？
You said ritual implements, right?
ますます勝手に入っちゃまずいよ。
I really feel like we shouldn't go in.
私は一応その先の人間ですから、この中にあるものはおおよそ想像がついてます。
I'm a part of the Sonozaki family, so I have a good guess as to what we'll find in there.
でもそれはケイちゃんにも見てもらいたいものです。
But I want you to see it too, Ki-chan.
俺に見てもらいたいもの？
You want to show something to me? I thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course, she was a sort who could lie with a straight face. Of course, I was an average boy too. My curiosity was at least twice that of a normal person. Sleeping, forbidden treasures, never to leave this warehouse. Chances like this don't come around too often. If I had to choose, then I want to see. Until the locked door is open, though. I don't know about this.
面白くないって思ったら、ケイちゃんはすぐに出ればいいです。
If you're not interested, Ki-chan, then you can leave now.
きっと興味を惹かれると思いますけどね。
I think you'll wonder about it later, though. Toмотaki-san spoke, after listening to our discussion, himself having sat down on the stairs to take a short rest.
僕がここで見張っててあげるから。
I'll keep watch here.
一緒に見てきてごらん。
Go in and check it out with them.
僕はあまり趣味じゃないけど、
I'm not too interested.
ケイチ君みたいな若い男の子には結構面白いかもしれないよ。
But it might be pretty interesting for a young guy like you, Kichikun. He said, laughing mischievously. There was no ill will in his laughter.
富武さんはこの中に何があるのか知ってるんですか？
Toмотaki-san, do you know what's in here?
まあね、
Kind of.
高野さんにたっぷり聞かされてるからね。
Takano-san told me all about it.
相方の特殊な趣味に付き合わされる殿方も大変ですね。
Must be a pain to have to go along with your companion's unique hobbies, huh? Toмотaki-san didn't answer that, only responding with a pained smile. Takano-san had this kind of scary air about her, like she'd drop absolutely everything else for something she had an interest in and go straight for it, but... Toмотaki-san, on the other hand, seemed like the gold standard of what a normal person should be. Having him tell me so frankly to go check it out suddenly made the guilt feel lighter.
じゃあちょっとだけな。
Okay, but just a little.
面白くなかったらすぐ出るぞ。
If it's not interesting, I'm leaving. You got it. Shion gave me another Mion-like wink.
決まったみたいね。
Looks like we're decided.
じゃあ行きましょうか。
Shall we go inside?
次郎さん、留守番をお願いね。
Jiro-san, we'll leave this to you. Toмотaki-san waved his hand to see us off. Into the creepy warehouse we go. Inside was pitch black, but Takano-san turned on the battery-powered lantern she brought, revealing a pretty cramped front room.
真っ暗だね。
It's so dark in here.
みんな転ばないように気をつけるんだよ。
Everyone, take care not to trip over anything.
ご心配ありがとう。
I appreciate the concern.
じゃあ門番をよろしくね。
Okay, doorman, keep a good watch.
ここ閉めるわよ。
We're shutting the door now. Takano-san smiled spitefully, as if leaving Toмотaki-san out of something fun, and began to close the door.
やれやれ。
Man.
じゃあみんな、ゆっくり楽しんでおいで。
Alright, everyone. Have fun. There was a low, heavy, and loud noise. We were completely cut off from the outside world, covered in silent darkness. Takano-san's lantern was the only light we had.
大丈夫よ。
It'll be fine.
予備電池も入ってるアウトドア仕様なんだから。
It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside.
消えたりなんかしないわよ。
It won't go out or anything. Looks like Takano noticed my uneasy expression. I couldn't help but blush a little and avert my gaze. Deeper inside, there was a heavy and old but sturdy door with solemn decorations on it. It was the last door sealing away what was within. Strange how it has an antechamber even though it's just a warehouse, isn't it?
一度に1枚ずつ扉を出入りさせることによって細具殿の中が外に見えないようにする工夫だと考えられるわね。
I believe it's set up this way so that you can open one door at a time, never letting the room with all the tools be seen from the outside. Takano-san explained this, awfully impressed by the construction. But still, it's really dark in here. Huh? That over there, it's a spotted circuit breaker hanging from a clump of wiring clumsily attached to the wall.
あ、これ明かりのブレーカーか何かじゃないですか?
Oh, here. Isn't this a light switch or something? I really hope there's like a bunch of skeletons. I just want to see some skellies in here. I flipped the biggest switch I can find, and with a click, the pitch-black room was illuminated by an old bare light bulb. Everyone scrunched up their faces at the sun's strobe-like brightness.
ダメです!
Don't! Before she even finished, Shion slapped my hand and flipped the switch back. There was another loud click, and the room returned to darkness with only the lantern for illumination.
いてててて.
Ow, ow, ow.
ダメです、ケイちゃん。
You can't, Ki-chan.
私たち、ここに忍び込んでるんですよ。
We snuck in here, remember?
明かりなんかつけたら、バレちゃうかもしれないじゃないですか。
If you turn on the light, it might give us away. I'm scolded by Shion fairly harshly. It looked like she was worried about whether someone had seen them from the momentary light.
大丈夫よ。
It's alright.
本当に一瞬だし。
It was only for a moment. Takano-san remained a relaxed adult. It seemed like she was confident she could talk her way out of it if someone did see us.
さあ、入りましょう。
Let's go in.
よいしょっと。
Here we go. There. The even heavier door opened, and this time, it wasn't just the dust that came out with the air. It was also a nasty smell. One smell was like opening a dust-filled cupboard in the back of a kitchen that hadn't been opened in years. And the other smell, the nasty one, was hard to explain, but it was like the raw odor of a fish market. From how this sound echoed, this room felt far larger than the first. Takano-san held up her lantern and revealed the contents of the expansive room. Whoa! At the back wall of the storehouse, right in front of us, was a Buddha-like holy object standing there, looking down at us. I was taken aback by its unseen force, lit up by the slender beam of the lantern.
あれがひなみ沢の守り神、お社様よ。
That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, Oyashiro-sama.
社にあるのより、ずっと立派ですね。
It's far grander than the one at the shrine. Oyashiro-sama. So this is the spirit protecting Hinamizawa. The one guarding the holy land of Hinamizawa from the impurities of the outside world, and the one delivering punishment after punishment upon those who attempted to sully the land with the dam construction.
想像してたより、たくさんの細具が収められているようね。
It looks like there are far more tools stored in here than I thought, but
でも残念。
this is so sad.
どれもあまり手入れがされていないわ。
None of them have been maintained.
状態が悪いのが悔やまれるわね。
How unfortunate that they're in such a state. Even in the dim light, I could see a lot of strange objects lining the walls, ceiling, and shelves. Takano-san, speaking as if in a trance, was infatuated by the various implements filling the dark room. They weren't very festival-like or traditional, but instead, this was more like the workshop of a blacksmith or a carpenter. There were a lot of large wooden and metal tools packed in here. Putting it bluntly, it was all pretty boring stuff. I'd imagine there would be more artistic things in here from the Heian period, but these are a far cry from being cultural artifacts. My expression betrayed my dashed hopes, and they caught on right away.
あら、面白くないかしら?
Oh? Is this not interesting for you?
俺は文系でも美術系でもないんで。
I'm not into literature or art, so
あんまりこういうのを見てもよく価値がわからないです。
I can look at this stuff, but I don't really understand its value.
圭一君はよくわかってないみたいね。
Getchikun, you really do look like you don't get it.
無理もないけれど。
Guess that's only natural. Takano-san reached into a paper bag that she'd been holding the whole time, took out a worn scrapbook, and began to flip through it.
じゃあ圭一君のために昔話でも聞かせてあげようかしら。
Then just for you, Kechi-kun, I'll tell you an old story.
この地方では一般的な昔話よ。
It's a common tale in this region.
図書館に行けば教育委員会推薦の本にも載ってるくらいにね。
If you go to the library, it could even be on their recommended reading list. Telling stories in such a dark, creepy place. She must have a horror story in mind. Shion's face belied nothing but calm. If she had the same personality as Mion, she'd have found fault with me being scared. I'll endure it for now and pretend to be calm.
いい？
Okay?
じゃあ読むわよ。
Alright, I'll read it. After confirming that I was going to be quiet and listen, she began to speak softly like a kindergarten teacher reading a picture book.
昔々ある山奥の村にね、沼があったの。
Long, long ago, in a certain village in the mountains, there was a swamp.
その沼はね、底なしの深い深い沼でね、
This swamp was very, very deep. Some even called it bottomless.
地の底の鬼の国につながっていたんですって。
People said it was connected to Hell, land of demons. The rumors said that it was deeper than the ocean, and that anyone it swallowed would sink into the underworld, a bottomless swamp. Its name was Onigafuchi. Wait, I thought back to the story I heard yesterday about the sacrifices sinking in the bottomless swamp. Could that be the swamp she's talking about?
ってことは、その村はひなみ沢ですね。
So then the village was Hinamazawa, right?
察しがいいわね。
You catch on quickly.
そうよ。
That's right.
当時は鬼ヶ淵村って呼ばれてたけどね。
Though it was called Onigafuchi Village at the time.
鬼ヶ淵村。
Onigafuchi Village?
物騒な響きのある名前だな。
That's a pretty inauspicious name.
イメージもあったんでしょうね。
It evokes quite the image, doesn't it?
明治の頃に今の名前に改称されたって聞きました。
I hear that the name was changed in the Meiji period. The name of the swamp connected to hell was called Onigafuchi, which meant the demon's abyss. And the true name of this village, Hinamazawa, was Onigafuchi Village.
村人たちは鬼の国、つまりは地獄のことね。
The villagers belonged to that abyss, or to hell in other words.
鬼の国とつながるという沼を崇めながら過ごしてきたの。
They lived their lives worshipping the swamp said to connect to it.
でもね、ある日のこと。
But then, one day... Oh! Demons began to appear, one after the other, from deep in the swamp. The villagers feared that hell was overflowing. The demons mercilessly attacked the villagers. They could only watch in fear. They could do no more than hide themselves and tremble.
で、誰かが鬼を退治するわけですか？
So, did someone exterminate them?
残念だけど、このお話には桃太郎みたいな正義の味方は登場しないわ。
Unfortunately, there's no Momotaro or Superman in this fairy tale.
じゃあ、村を挙げて戦うわけですか？
Then, did they get the whole village together to fight them?
まさか。
Heavens, no.
村人たちに鬼と互角に戦える力などあるわけもない。
The villagers weren't nearly strong enough to fight on equal terms with the demons.
じゃあ、村を捨てて逃げるしかないですよね。
Then, the only recourse would be to flee the village.
それも無理ね。
They couldn't do that either.
村人たちにとっても村は大切な郷里だったから。
To the villagers, it was their beloved homeland.
どんな恐ろしい鬼が攻めてきたからといって簡単に逃げ出せるはずもなかったのよ。
Didn't matter how terrifying the demons, they wouldn't have run away so easily.
じゃあ、どうするんですか？
Then, what did they do?
滅びるしかないじゃないですか。
Wouldn't they just get wiped out? Unable to fight and unable to run, all they could do was wait for the village to be destroyed. Then, when everyone had lost hope, their god, Oyashiro-sama, descended unto them.
なるほど。
I see.
つまり、天からやってきたお社様が鬼たちをやっつけるわけですか。
So Oyashiro-sama came down from the sky and beat up all the demons then? He came down from a bubble, dude! Sorry, I had to say that.
ケイちゃんは男の子ですね。
You're such a boy, Ki-chan.
すぐに腕力で解決する方に走るんですから。
You always jump straight to using force to resolve things. Shion sighed, a little annoyed. Embarrassed, I held my tongue.
お社様はね、
The thing about Oyashiro-sama?
やっつけるとかそういう暴力的な神様じゃなかったの。
He wasn't a violent god who would beat them up, like you're saying.
もっと優しい慈愛のある神様だったの。
He was a kind god, filled with love and benevolence. The strength of Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens couldn't be compared to that of the demons. They didn't even fight, they simply prostrated themselves before his radiant authority. Oyashiro-sama urged them to go back to hell from whence they came, but the demons wept and challenged him, saying they could never return.
鬼たちの世界にも厳しい戒律があってね。
The world of the demons, too, has harsh commandments.
彼らは地獄を追放された鬼たちだったんですって。
They claim they have been banished from hell. Demons, who didn't have a place to go, neither in hell nor in the human world. Of course, they were at fault for attacking the village. They deeply reflected on it and were sorry.
村人たちも話を聞くうちに少しずつ気の毒になっていったわ。
As the villagers conversed amongst themselves, little by little they came to pity the demons and...
それでね、村のみんなで話し合った結果、鬼たちと一緒に住むことを決めたの。
After talking with everyone in the village, they decided to live alongside them.
対峙するとか追っ払うっていう昔話は多いけど、共存ってのは確かに珍しいですね。
A lot of fairy tales have them being exterminated or driven away, but you don't often hear one where they live in peace.
ですよね。
You're right.
鬼ってのは元来諸悪の象徴のはず。
Demons are supposed to symbolize all evils.
それとの共存を決めたというお話なんだから、本当に変わってます。
A story where they decide to live together with humans is certainly strange. When the demons first heard the villagers' invitation, they doubted their ears, but soon burst into tears of joy. The villagers had given them a place to live. It was said that in payment for this good deed, the demons shared their many kinds of power and secrets with the villagers.
お社様はその微笑ましい交流をとても喜んでね。
Oyashiro-sama was very pleased with this happy exchange.
鬼たちが村人と分け隔てなく暮らせるよう人間の姿を与えたんですって。
He gave the demons the bodies of humans so that they would be indistinguishable from the villagers. Ah, demon people.
そして自らも地上にとどまり末永く両者の交流を見守ることにしたんだそうよ。
He himself decided to stay on the surface and watch over the everlasting peace between them. A land in which man, demon, and god lived together. I thought the word demon was a noun meaning evil that needs to be exterminated. A god may have mediated for them, but you don't often hear happy endings like that where both sides live in harmony. I see. Guess it is kind of interesting.
普通のおとぎ話ならここで終わりなんだけどね。
Although the normal fairy tale ends there.
このお話は江戸時代にだいぶ加筆されたみたいで、まだまだ続く随分と長い話になってるわ。
It was revised quite a bit during the Edo period into a much longer story. After that, the humans and demons intermixed, and eventually there was no difference between them.
鬼の存在は結局村に溶け込んで消えてしまったということですか。
So, the demons ended up disappearing?
いいえ、
No,
消えたりなんかしないです。
not at all.
半分はしっかりと残ってたそうですよ。
Half of them stayed just as they were. The knowledge the villagers had received from the demons basically made them into something inhuman, what people call transcendent. They were all well aware the power they had was heresy, and as those below worshipped them, they lived out their lives in secrecy.
このお話がね、その後に派生するたくさんの昔話、フィクションの原点になってるの。
The story is the root of many derivative tales and pieces of fiction.
だからこのお話がある意味基礎中の基礎。
It's a foundation, I mean.
ベーシックね。
The basis.
原点ってどういう意味ですか？
What do you mean by root?
村人たちは鬼の血を引いているという部分ですね。
She means the part about the villagers having demon blood.
つまりこの辺りに伝わるさまざまな伝承や昔話は全部その村の人たちは鬼の血を引いているというのが前提になっているんです。
What I mean is, all the legends from around here are based on the premise that the villagers are descendant from demons. There was a hint of amusement in Shion's face as she said that. It was like she wanted to say that she too had demon blood in her. Is there any proof though? Maybe it's somehow rooted in historical fact beyond just fairy tales.
あら
Oh,
じゃあ前原君は沼から鬼が現れて人間と交わったっていうのは本当にあった出来事だって信じてるのかしら？
Maiber-kun, then do you believe that demons really did come out of the swamp and breed with humans?
信じないわけじゃないんですけど。
Well, it's not that I don't believe it, but when she said demon, she meant the ones from hell, but in ancient Japan, the word wasn't necessarily used to denote only that kind, right? The more well-known use involves the drifting foreigner theory. As the story goes, Westerners who were shipwrecked in nearby seas had such markedly different customs that they were called demons. Japanese people were relatively similar in appearance to other Asians, but everything about those from the West was different. Their physiques, their faces, and their skin color. In Japan, terms like red demon and blue demon evoke images especially of Westerners. Lacking in skin pigments, Westerners would sunburn easily and turn red. Being fair-skinned, I think blood vessels appearing on their skin would look blue too. A handful of accidental aliens would drift into Japan and came under persecution, being called demons. They would flee into the mountains to survive, turn to bandit groups, and attack villagers for food and the like.
なんて説はどうでしょ
How does that explanation sound?
う？ちょっと子供じみてますかね。
Maybe it's a bit childish. Takano gave me a weird smile when, having come up with such an impromptu hypothesis, I unconsciously followed it up with self-deprecation. Still, she didn't smile as if to make fun of me.
別におかしくないわよ。
It's not ridiculous.
実際に漂流異人説を唱える人もいるもの。
There are a lot of people who subscribe to the drifting foreigner theory.
でも実際はどうなのかは誰にもわからない。
There are a lot of people who subscribe. Wait, even so, nobody actually knows what happened.
山賊化した異人の集団だったのか、本当に地の底から来た鬼たちだったのかね。
Were they groups of foreigners who have turned to banditry, or were they really demons who had come from the bottom of the world?
じゃあ、高野さんはどっちを信じてるんですか？
Then, Takano-san, which one do you believe?
真相は別にして、夢のある方を信じたいわね。
The truth of the matter aside, I'd rather believe the more fantastic explanation.
その方が面白いでしょ。
It's more fun that way, isn't it? Her answer made her sound a wee bit like a romanticist. Here I thought she'd reject unrealistic stories like that.
さて、
Now then,
いよいよここからよ。
this is where
面白くなるのは。
the fun begins. Takano-san brought an end to her storytelling waits for a moment, as if to tantalize us.
Huh?
Question mark? Suddenly, Shion looked around as something had caught her eye. Her head bobbed to and fro, like she was making sure nothing had changed.
どうしたシオン？
What's wrong, Shion?
ごめんなさい。気にしないでください。
I'm sorry. Please don't worry about it. Something weird happening? Shion pretended as though nothing had happened. Takano-san also made sure nothing had happened, then cleared her throat and broached the next subject.
村人たちに半分鬼の血が流れてるのは話したわね。
I explained that half the villagers have demon blood.
実はその血なんだけど、鬼は鬼でも人食い鬼の血なんだって言われてるの。
That blood, I actually say that it's the blood of the kind of demon that eats people.
人食い鬼ですか？
Man-eating demons?
急に物騒な響きになりましたね。
That escalated quickly.
その血は今でも村人たちには脈々と流れていてね。
That blood still runs through the villagers' veins.
時折、その血が眠りを覚ますと言われてるわ。
They say that sometimes the blood awakens from its slumber. Thought the fairy tale had a happy ending, with the humans and demons living in peace, but it began to suddenly change into a brutal, bloody story.
人食い鬼だから。
Well, They eat people.
何十年かに一度、どうしても人肉が食べたくて仕方がなくなる周期があるんです。
They say that every decade or so, they can't help but want to feast on human flesh.
だからって、村人同士で共食いするわけにはいかない。
The villagers can't eat other villagers.
だから、彼らはその度に人里へ降り、鬼隠しをしたと伝えられてるわ。
So when this happens, said that they descended on the human villagers or villages and conducted onikakushi.
何ですか？鬼隠しって。
What's an onikakushi?
平たく言えば、鬼たちによる誘拐行為よ。
Broadly speaking, it's when a demon kidnaps someone, when a person is demoned away.
鬼ヶ淵村の村人たちが人里に押し寄せ、哀れな生贄を無理やり力ずくでさらったんです。
They say that the villagers of Onigafuchi would overwhelm unfortunate human villagers in order to kidnap sacrifices. Takano-san's explanation was plain and simple, but I imagined what it must have been like. It was terrifying. They lose their human reason. The villagers turn into real demons en masse. They attack the villagers they loathe in the dirty world of the masses below. And then they kill and eat their sacrifices.
それじゃあ鬼と何ら変わりないじゃないですか。
So they're no different from demons after all.
お社様はどうしたんです？
What did Oyashiro-sama do?
その村にとどまって人々を見守ってるんじゃなかったでしたっけ？
Wasn't he supposed to be staying in the village and watching over them?
もちろん、お社様も了承してたそうよ。
Oyashiro-sama knew about it, of course.
だから、鬼隠しは無差別ではなく、神様が決めた生贄以外には誰もさらわなかったらしいし。
Onikakushi isn't indiscriminate. Villagers apparently never kidnapped anyone other than the sacrifices decided upon by their god.
ほとんどの場合は、一人か二人だったって記されてるわね。
In the texts, it's usually one or two people. A village inhabited by those both human and inhuman. It was like the heartwarming episode's colors had inverted, like negative film. Now I gotta say, before I get too much deeper into this, I do have to quickly do a BRB. Go to the restroom real quick before maybe shit actually hits the fan here. So let me throw this up. I will be right back. Give me like 2 minutes or so. And I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Apologies if it seems like I'm rushing through. Hopefully it doesn't seem like it's too much, but the reason I started so early, like I said, I have plans later tonight. So I'm trying not to stick too long, but I also do want to finish at least this section, so we will stay on the path of of progress. But yeah, not trying to insinuate that I'm trying to like actually like blast through this at a blinding speed, but so here we go. It was like the heartwarming episode's colors had inverted like negative film. I think I read that. Revealing the painful and ugly truth. The scene is pretty long. Well, unfortunate timing and selection on my part, but the thing was, like I said, I wanted to stick with I didn't want to not stream or anything tonight, and I wanted to continue Higurashi Tuesday. And also, it goes to show proof that I don't know what's coming ahead of time, obviously, or don't plan for it well, but it's fine. We'll survive. I'll survive. So, Takano says, so on the nights when they stole away villagers, they would feast on their kidnapped sacrifices, which is why the nights came to be known as Watanagashi. Watanagashi. Tonight's festival was Watanagashi. I just couldn't reconcile the fun festival with the horrible tale Takano-san was telling me. Watanagashi, well, wasn't it? Wasn't it about giving thanks to the futons we use over the winter or something? Kei-chan? Wata? Wata has another meaning, you know. It means entrails. Shion, who had been silent until now, spoke up. Entrails? Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Like fish guts? Wait, what? Like a jigsaw puzzle, the fun times I had today and Takano-san's grotesque tale clicked together in my mind. Watanagashi. So, gut spilling? I didn't think saying that could ever feel so nauseating. Yes. Yes! It's as you imagine, Maibara-kun. Right now, the Watanagashi festival might be just somewhat early summer festival occurring every June, but used to be different. See, I don't put too much stock into this. This reminds me of, like, you know, like, where people go, like, oh, you know, Christmas, or Halloween, it was started with, like, as this pagan festival or something, and holiday, and, you know, it used to mean so much more, yada, yada, yada. If I was catchier now, I'd be cool. I'd be like, it's fine. It's fine. We're all gonna be okay. It used to be a ghastly cannibalistic feast held on the night the villagers had collected their unfortunate dinner. It can't be true. I had no real reason to say that, but I couldn't help it. Maibara-kun, you said that Watanagashi is a ritual about purifying futons, right? What do you think the futons filled with cotton, with wata, represent? Futons are futons! They're beds! They're things for sleeping in. What else could they possibly represent? I was rattling on, desperately attempting to deny the horrible festival that Takano-san was describing. Deep down, however, I found myself understanding all too well what she meant. Futons, stuffed with cotton. If the cotton represented entrails, both pronunciation and meaning, then entrail-filled futons would have to be humans. Why do you think back to the offertory dance Rika-chan performed? Do you know? what she was doing up there?
わからねえよ。
No, I don't.
第一、リカちゃんの演舞は最後までちゃんと見てないし。
I didn't even watch the whole thing anyway. Shh.
ケイちゃん、エキサイトしすぎです。
Ki-chan, you're getting too worked up. Shion grabbed one of my ears, reminding me that this wasn't somewhere I should raise my voice. Even so, I still couldn't suppress this agitation I feel.
リカちゃんが持っていた祭事用のクワ。
Rika-chan was carrying a festival hoe.
もううすうすは気づいてると思うけど、あれは田畑を耕すクワではなくて。
You've probably realized it already, but that's not a hoe for plowing fields.
人間の腹をこじ開けるための解剖道具なのよ。
It's a tool for dissecting human bodies. Ah! The face I have when I tell a kid a horror story for no real good reason, and I rope them into being complicit in my breaking into a place I should not be in, and also the guy I'm probably having sex with has to just deal with me. I didn't see the dance all the way through, so I don't know what kind of performance Rika-chan was putting on after I'd left. When I told this to Takano-san, she kindly explained Rika-chan's dance to me. To summarize what she said, after what I'd seen, Rika-chan would pierce the futons with that hoe. Also, Shion's looking a little uncomfortable as well. She's like, cut them open and pull out the cotton inside. Sounds like a dope dance. She'd cut the cotton out, one bit at a time, and set it afloat. That's the kind of ritual it was.
平たく言えば、魚の綿を取り出して三角コーナーに捨てるのを仰々しく儀式仕立てにしたってことね。
Broadly speaking, it was quite the bombastic ceremony where they rip out the guts and throw them into a basin.
それで儀式はおしまい。
And then the ritual was over.
その後はそれぞれの役割を持った村人たちがおのおのに肉を解体して美味しくいただいたって考えられてるわね。
It's thought that afterwards the villagers, each with a different role, dismantled the flesh piece by piece and feasted upon it. As Takano-san's strangely happy giggle, I felt, for some reason, violent displeasure. Rika-chan, every day during our lunch break, she'd take a rice-pounding mallet into the schoolyard, and she'd work so hard, sweating bullets, to practice for the offertory dance she had done today. All that effort, all that work, Takano-san disgraced it, even though she worked so hard to practice her today.
高野さんももう少し言葉を選んでほしいです。
Takano-san, I think you should choose your words more carefully.
ケイちゃん、ナイーブなんですから、あまりからかわないでください。
Ki-chan's pretty naive, so please don't tease him so much. That first half of what she said right there so almost kind of sounds like a threat. A moment before I opened my mouth to express how angry I was, Shion stopped me. Shion must have been fully aware of how that story made me feel.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
男の子だからショッキングな話は結構好きかと思って。
I thought you liked a story with that sort of shock value, since you're a boy. Fuck off, Takano. Takano-san spoke with without a hint of malice as she smiled gracefully.
この辺まで話を聞けば、ケイちゃんにもこの細具殿の中にどういうものがあるのか理解できるようになってきませんか?
After hearing all that, did you figure out what kind of stuff is in this storehouse, Ki-chan?
ほら。
See? Look. Shion pointed out one of the walls vaguely illuminated by the lantern's light. There was. Mere moments ago, they hadn't held my interest. They were just boring-looking tools lined up on the shelves. All those uninteresting tools that I didn't understand how to use. They all suddenly took on a new meaning. I couldn't help but let out a groan. At first, they had looked like carpentry tools, like chisels or planes. However, when I thought back, I'd seen pictures of these sorts of tools before. Yeah, they came up in a Japanese history textbook. Yes, on the page introducing the Kaitai Shinsho, or the new text on anatomy.
こういうのはね。
These sorts of things.
医学の本場、ドイツの文献の方がリアルに掲載されてるわよ。
They're printed realistically in the literature of Germany, capital of the medical world. These aren't carpentry tools. These strangely shaped tools, they're for dissection. Everyone knows that in the Edo period, they would dissect the corpses of those who had been put to death in order to gain knowledge about Western medical techniques. Illustrations of the dissection tools they used at the time came up in textbook supplements. The things hung up on this wall all looked exactly the same as those.
もっと怖い言い方をするなら調理道具といったところかしらね。
If you want a scarier way of looking at it, think of them as cooking utensils. Takano-san, holding the lanterns, the only light source in the room, led us along the wall. She had the only light, so I had to walk after her, whether I liked it or not.
ほら
Look! Takano-san illuminated a coiled chain, which left a bigger impression than the other things we saw. The chain in itself was nothing unusual, but further along it were metal fetters that were like hinges, clearly meant for binding people.
Kei-chan!
Kechi! Or Ki-chan!
あれ
Look at that! I mean, the thing is, this is a perfect opportunity. If Shion wasn't such a dick, and, like, Kechi actually, like, was into Shion, this is the perfect moment. This is the stereotypical, oh, I'm watching a scary movie and with a girl on a date that I like, and then she gets to grip my arm and, like, hold it when she gets scared, and I'm there, I'm the big, manly, macho man. But instead, he's in here with the blonde-haired freak, and then Shion, who he shouldn't be in here with. He shouldn't be with her in here. It's just all bad. It's just all bad. Bad situations all around. He's scaring. He's probably shitting his pants. There's no good coming from this. No positives in this situation. Shion tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to a restraining table that was clearly shaped like a person. My spine froze. My blood felt like it was turning into sherbet, as it crawled up my back. On each of the joints, there were things like chains and iron balls attached. It was like the table was searching for its next sacrifice, ready to spread their arms wide and close them in.
多分まな板じゃないかしら。
It's probably a chopping block.
犠牲者を拘束してこの台の上でお料理をしたんだと思うわね。
I think you'd strap the sacrifice down to prep them for eating. The words chopping block sent a jolt through my body. When I looked more closely, there were many dark slices carved into it, as though from a knife or a saw. They were the most clear-cut signs of usage you could ask for. It proved these tools weren't just for show, they were used for their original purpose. If someone was strapped tightly onto this table, they probably wouldn't be able to move even a muscle. Their guts would be defenseless. You take one of those eerie cooking knives lined up over there, stab them with it, and then you'd slice open their belly and dissect them.
話には聞いてたけどすごい
I'd heard the stories, but this is incredible. Before coming in here, Shion had mentioned she had a good guess of what was inside, but seems to have exceeded her imagination.
まだまだあるわよ。
There's still more.
どう？
How about it?
老人形館より面白いでしょ。
More fascinating than a wax museum, isn't it? Takano-san had this happy expression like she was visiting a toy store for the first time. I don't get it. This Mio Takano person has nerves of steel. Are these bizarre, grotesque objects that fascinating to her? I, for one, was not enjoying myself. I'll be frank, this was all too weird for me. Still, there was something even more horrifying than all this. That would be none other than Takano-san herself. Takano-san, holding the lantern giving off such a thin beam of light, if she suddenly turned it off, then I would. What would I do when, the next moment, everything went totally dark? That's why I was scared. Takano-san had the only light, and anyway, I was scared. At some point, Shion had started holding onto my shirt sleeve. It was a little annoying to walk like that, but I didn't shake her off. That minor sensation allowed me to feel the presence of an ally, here and now. Before we had even walked halfway through the storehouse, the air I felt on my skin changed completely. These cruel tools lined up, all crammed together in this place. Some were horrible ones made to take away sacrifices' freedom, and Some were tools made to efficiently disassemble and prepare the bodies for consumption. Those were just the things I understood. There were plenty of other strange-looking objects that I couldn't even guess the purpose of. Now that I was here, I didn't have the slightest desire to hear the details about what sort of terrifying reasons they were meant to be used for. At the very least, they were all completely different from the sort of clean, simple killing function of a katana. Tools to kill people were obviously constructed in such a way that they could kill people. If that was the goal, then the person who used them on would obviously end up dead. The kinds of tools here, however, were different. The tools that were here were for cutting people, for crushing them, for boiling them and cooking them, and for grinding them. They were tools of torture. They weren't made to kill people. People dying was just an incidental result. Actually, it might not even kill them. If the sacrifices could die during such a horrifying ritual process, that would be nice, but they don't even die in the end. They remain in a state of hellish pain. Perhaps they were only being allowed to live. Only now, in this moment, did I fully realize just how terrifying and fearsome that difference was.
人ってね、
People, you see,
上手にやると結構殺さずに済むものらしいの。
most of these wouldn't kill them if used properly. Takano-san, as if reading my mind, displayed a shocking smile.
魔女狩りで有名な家系、火あぶりなんかはすぐに死んじゃうのよ。
Burning at the stake, a famous method of execution for witches, will kill the person immediately.
全身の皮膚が広範囲にわたって重度の火傷を負うと、組織の分解産物で中毒症状を引き起こし、重度なショックを併発しちゃうから。
When the body suffers extreme burns on the skin all over, decomposition of the skin's chemical makeup produces poison-like symptoms, causes an immense shock to the victim.
まあ、確かにそれに至るまでがギロチンなんかに比べればはるかに長いところに残虐性があるんだけど。
Though I suppose it's still very cruel compared to the guillotine, you have to wait far longer for that to happen. She described such horrors in a strangely medical way. Shion immediately answered the question I had.
高野さん、看護師さんですから。
Takano-san is a nurse. There's a saying that nothing can scare a doctor. I guess that's true.
ところがね、
Oh, and also,
ローマの時代の処刑方法にね、
there was a,
網焼きというものがあったの。
there was a method of execution in ancient Rome where they would grill the person,
バーベキューと同じにね、
just like a barbecue. Curse.
金網で挟みつけて炭火でじっくりと焼いたんですって。
They would cover the person in wire netting and slowly cook them over a charcoal fire. To think the memories of when I went to a day camp with my family would come rushing back now of all times, so vividly.
これだとね、
That's what it was like.
どういうわけかなかなか死なないらしいのよ。
Apparently they wouldn't die too easily for some reason.
ものの本によると一昼夜かけて片側が炭化するくらいこんがり焼いてもまだ意識があって流暢に話をしたなんて記述も出てくるから。
So weird. According to one source, even if they roasted one side of a person to crisp for an entire night, they would still be conscious and able to speak fluently. That's insane. You grill someone the whole day and they'd still be conscious? It said that ancient Rome, famous for the executions, thought of plenty of ways to execute someone while having the victim stay alive as long as possible.
その中にね、
Among them,
お腹を開いて腸をウインナーみたいに引っ張り出してウィンチで引っ張り上げて晒し物にする系があったんですって。
there was one method where they would open the gut, pull out the intestines like sausages, pull them up with a winch, and put them on public display. Shion was behind me, clinging to me. Not just because she was scared, she was protecting her stomach.
臓物を引っ張り出すなんて聞いただけでもすぐに死んじゃいそうでしょ。
You would think someone with their intestines pulled out would die instantly, right?
でもね、
Actually,
丁寧に優しくやるとね、
as long as you do it tenderly and thoroughly,
意識がはっきりとした状態のまま腹渡を引きずり出すことって可能らしいのよ。
it's apparently possible to pull them all out while the person is still conscious. I felt a sick feeling in my stomach. It was like my organs were coiling up just from Takano-san's stare.
ウィンチで引っ張り出すっていうのはなんだか大妙な方法だけど。
Though pulling them out with a winch was a rather exaggerated method.
もっと野蛮に裂いた腹から臓物をちぎっては投げちぎっては投げという。
In a more barbaric way, they might slice open the gut, then cut the intestines out and throw them everywhere.
そんな恐ろしい刑もあったんじゃないかって十分に考えられない。
It's quite imaginable that they did dreadful things like that too, isn't it?
でも処刑者に
Why
は
aren't they telling her to
意識が
stop? Stop, Takano! However, those being put to death are conscious.
それは痛い以上に恐ろしい体験なんでしょうね。
Must be far more terrifying than painful. She spoke with pleasure, as if she had come here on a sightseeing trip. I heard Shion gulping multiple times near my eyes.
ひなみ沢の、いえ、鬼ヶ淵村の綿流しもそんな感じだったのかしらね。
Perhaps Hinamizawa, or rather, Onigafuchi Village, did something like that for the Watanagashi festival. No, I know she has the only light. I'm not saying for them to leave. I'm saying, like, even politely, just say, hey, why don't we change the subject, or, you know, just continue on our sightseeing. I don't want to hear the story part anymore from her. That's what I'm telling these kids to do. Just ask. Just be like, hey, I don't care for this anymore. Takano says, listen.
耳を澄ませば聞こえてくるような気がしない。
If you try hard, can't you hear it? I wanted nothing more than to not hear anything at all. So why? Why only at times like these do I begin to hear things I shouldn't be able to? Takano-san, having realized she'd scared Shion and I enough at this point, smiled soothingly. Then, she turned on her heel, raised the lantern, and began to walk away. If Takano-san left us here, we'd get even further away from the light. Shion and I, no matter how scared we were forced to follow Takano-san along on our field trip through the ritual storehouse. I suppose we've seen a bit of everything.
Ne?
See?
面白いところでしょ?
This place is interesting, isn't it? She says, raising the lantern high in the center of the storehouse. The dim lighting didn't change, but for some reason, felt like I was able to see all of those horrible tools at once. Ki-chan! Look up! Shion stammered while grabbing the nape of my neck. I couldn't tell because it was so dark, but there were a lot more tools hanging from the ceiling as well. They all looked like they were made of iron bars, but then I figured it out. Cages. For cages, they were very small. Cramped cages just for one, like a casket. If you got locked up in there, no, you wouldn't get locked up inside it. It was another tool meant for restraining people, where the iron bars would squeeze you tightly. So many big and large things of all shapes were hanging down. Takano-san's mention of execution by grilling crossed my mind. We weren't just surrounded on all sides by these terrifying instruments. Things crowding the ceiling were even hanging over our heads.
ヨーロッパの拷問道具にこういった鳥かごがたくさん登場するわね。
There are many of these sorts of bird cages among European torture devices.
日本にもあったなんて驚きだわ。
I'm surprised to see them in Japan as well. Ki-chan!
あれ、中に入ってない？
Is there something in there?
人？
A person? A mummy?
どれ?
Where? Shion desperately pointed to one of the many human-sized bird cages hanging from the ceiling, but I couldn't tell which one she meant. Being that dark, there wasn't any way you could tell if something was there in the first place.
私には何も見えないけど。
I don't see anything.
見間違いじゃないの?
You sure you're not seeing things? Shion didn't seem convinced, but without a means to confirm for ourselves, we couldn't do much but wonder.
これで前原君にもなんとなく信じられるようになったんじゃないかしら。
Maibara-kun, after seeing this, have you come to believe in all of it?
ひなみ沢に伝えられる恐ろしい儀式の数々が。
The countless terrible rituals passed down in Hinamizawa? It's got nothing to do with believing in them. Now that I've been shown the real thing like this, there's no possible way to deny it. Even the nations of Europe, with all their beautiful landscapes and legends, were like a maelstrom during the terrible witch hunts in the Dark Ages. It's well known that the era gave birth to countless gruesome forms of torture and execution. Japan was the same way. Didn't it have its own era of hellscape-like torture feasts because of religious suppression and things of that nature? Hinamizawa itself had such a period. It had that much history behind it. Even in Europe, land of the witch hunts, that was all far in the past, no more than a series of historical events, and in this age, nothing that abnormal would ever happen. That must apply to Hinamizawa as well.
中世の暗黒時代とかがそうだったように、ひなみ沢にも暗黒時代があった。
Just as Europe had its dark age, Hinamizawa had one too.
そういうものなんだと解釈します。
That's how this should be taken.
本当にひなみ沢でこういう恐ろしいことがあったのだとしても、それは大昔の出来事なんです。
Even if these things all really happened in Hinamizawa, they're all long past.
今暮らしているひなみ沢の人々とは何の関係もないことです。
They don't have anything to do with the people living in Hinamizawa right now.
前原君は本当にひなみ沢が好きなのね。
Maibara-kun, you really do like this village. Didn't sound like she was making fun of me. Takano-san gave me a light smile.
でも高野さんはその風習が実は現代にも残っているんじゃないかと思って研究をしてるんです。
Takano-san, you're researching whether these customs survived into the present.
そうでしたよね。
You are, right? Shion suggested something that made my heart leap into my throat. Are you telling me that these horrible things are still going on even today?
これ本当に内緒なんだからね。
What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright?
しおんちゃんは理解のある人だから話したけど、他の村人には聞かれたくないの。
I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person, but the other villages don't want to hear it.
下手をしたら罰当たり者ってことで袋叩きにされかねないんだから。
If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished. Shion flashed a devilish smile, as if reveling in the immorality of it.
前原君も内緒にしてね。
Maibara-kun, you keep it a secret too, okay?
知られたら私、お社様のたたりに遭うか、生贄にされちゃうかするかもしれない。
If this gets out, I could suffer Oyashiro-sama's curse, or be made into a sacrifice.
たたりなら、今年はどんな死に方をさせられちゃうのかしら。
If it's a curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year.
生贄なら、鬼ヶ淵の沼に生きたまま沈められちゃうのかしら。
If it's a sacrifice, then will I be thrown into the Onigafuchi swamp while still active?
そういえば今夜よね。
It is tonight, you know.
お社様のたたりがある夜は。
The night of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Takano-san said, bringing her face right up close to ours. As if to say that if she had the choice, she'd rather suffer the curse. That was what she seemed to be implying. Takano-san took a fairly worn notebook out of her paper bag, then began to flit through its pages. There are all sorts of references and newspaper clippings attached to them, and it had all manner of things written inside. The letters were very small and bunched together, so I couldn't tell at a glance what it was about.
本当は国会図書館で当時の新聞を探したいんだけどね。
What I'd really like to do is search through the National Library for newspapers from the era, but...
ほら、ここ。
Here it is. A photocopy of a page from some book was slid into the notebook, and it too was written in small, tight lettering. Like the other pages, I couldn't tell what it was about just by glancing at it.
これは実際にあったお話よ。
This is a story that actually happened.
明治の終わり頃にね。
It was around the end of the Meiji era.
鬼ヶ淵村で身元不明の惨殺死体が発見されたんですって。
They discovered an unknown, mangled corpse, victim of a murder, in Onigafuchi village. An old newspaper clipping attached to the page spoke of something that was no mere rumor or fairy tale.
当時の警察の資料がほとんど残ってないそうだから、口伝と記憶によるものだけなんだけどね。
We don't have most police documents from the time anymore, so it's all based on oral traditions and memories.
ほら、これ不鮮明だけど、明治の頃の新聞の切り抜きみたい。
See? It's not very clear, but looks like a cutout of a newspaper from the Meiji era. Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Could it be the work of a demon? Being a copy of a copy was very hard to make out, but it was more than enough to make me feel strangely tense. Near the end of the Meiji era, in old Onagafuchi village, a mangled corpse was discovered. The identity of the corpse was unknown. It wasn't even in a state where it could be identified in the first place. It was missing a head, and each limb was separated from the body. Skin had been peeled off the entire body. There were markings that implied terrible torture in every place imaginable. Not only that, but the belly had been cut open by a sharp knife, with the entrails completely dragged out. The police immediately began an investigation, but since they couldn't even determine the identity of the victim, much less the criminal, finding answers was extremely difficult.
どういう状況かわかるかしら?
Do you understand what it must have been like? Couldn't imagine such a strange sight, even if I tried. This was the first time I was ever thankful for my lack of imagination.
被害者は生きながらにして全身の皮を剥がれ、あらゆる拷問を受けていじめ殺されたんです。
The victim was skinned while still alive, underwent all kinds of torture, and was killed brutally.
そして死後にもさらに遺体を分解解剖と残虐の限りを尽くしたのではないかって筆者は見ているわね。
The author here also thinks that even after death, the remains are divided and dissected even further. The epitome of inhumanity.
私はどの工程も生きているうちにやったんじゃないかって思ってるんだけどね。
I'm of the opinion that the entire process was performed while the person was still alive, though.
前原君はどう思うかしら?
What do you think, Maiburu-kun? Don't ask me. She spoke in a way intended to make me imagine even more vicious things. As my brain was already far over capacity, however, there's no way I could imagine anything more brutal. Then when I broke my gaze from Takano-san's, those strangely shaped weird tools were all around us. I wonder if you could faithfully reproduce the mutilated corpse discovered at the end of the Meiji era with the tools found in its place. I want to deny it. I don't want to admit that something so terrible could have happened at all. Even so, they were so strange, so terrifying, these tools, and as if they had seen through my attempt to escape from them, they did nothing but ridicule me silently.
その薄気味悪い事件が何だって言うんですか?
So, that creepy incident, what was it in the end?
筆者はね、鬼ヶ淵村の恐ろしい習慣は明治以降の近代。
The author says that, regarding Onagafuchi Village's dreadful customs, they've survived into recent post-Meiji days.
ひょっとすると、昭和初期くらいまでは残ってたんじゃないかって結んでるわ。
And that perhaps they lasted until around the beginning of the Showa period. This corpse, at a glance, appeared to have been brutally killed after a period of torture. In actuality, however, it was the pitiful sacrificial remains of the man-eater's terrifying feast. The corpse was just leftovers. It was so fantastic, so strange, that it didn't feel real. Was this an extension of the legends too? It happened in the Meiji era, though, which is just too recent to be called a legend. Also, there's a newspaper clipping right here suggesting it.
でも本当にあったとしたって昔のことですよね。
Okay, but even if it really happened, it was a long time ago, right?
明治なんて言ったらそれこそ100年くらい前の。
I mean, the Meiji era ended 100 years ago.
たったよ。
That's all.
たった100年前のことよ。
Only 100 years ago.
それにね。
Besides,
昭和に入ってからだってあるんだから。
kept happening even after the beginning of the Showa period.
終戦直後に騒ぎになった。
Like with the uproar around the post-war.
人肉缶詰事件。
Canned flesh incident.
ごめんなさい。
Oh, I apologize.
この話はタブーだったわ
Oh
よね。
boy. That story was taboo, wasn't it? Takano-san immediately stopped talking as if worried about Shion. Shion briefly looked somewhat angry, but the expression soon disappeared. Huh?
今高野さんなんて言いました？
Takano-san, what did you just say?
人肉缶詰って。
Canned flesh? Just then, there was a huge creaking noise. Everyone whipped around to look. Save us, Tomatake! It was Tomatake-san who had opened the door slightly. Did I startle you?
ここ素敵な拷問道具
All I
の
wanted was a
宝庫よ。
fun festival. Now we just... this chapter was blonde-haired lady freaks some kids out. Oh, Jiro-san, could you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices.
僕は遠慮させてもらうよ。
I'll pass on that.
生来ね、こういうのは苦手なんだ。
I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san held her stomach and had to muffle her laughter as if she wanted to make a comment about his masculinity.
それより、
In any case,
演舞とセレモニーが終わって、みんな沢の方に降りていったよ。
the dance and ceremony are over. Everyone's going down to the stream.
あと何分もしないうちにお祭りは終わっちゃう。
The festival will be over within minutes.
あらいけない。
Oh, that's no good.
前原くんがあまりにも聞き上手だからまたお話三昧になっちゃったわ。
Myberkun is just such a good listener that I couldn't help telling stories. I'd really rather you not mention me in a place like this.
次郎さんは表で待っててくれるかしら？
Dear son, could you wait out front?
私はちょっと写真を撮るわね。
I want to take a few pictures.
本当はいくつか道具を持って帰りたいんだけど、それはさすがに無理そうだからね。
There are actually a lot of tools I'd like to bring home, but we obviously can't do that. That's a lie. I don't know. I heavy doubt she would love to yoink some of these. Takano-san took a camera out of her paper bag and began to snap photographs. She looked like she was having fun, like she was on a scavenger hunt. Hmm?
ケイチ君も出るかい？
Kichikun, are you leaving too?
もう十分に見ましたので。
I've seen enough.
シオン、もういいだろ。
Shion, you're good too, right?
出ようぜ。
Let's get out of here.
綺麗な空気が吸いたいよ。
I want some fresh air.
同感です。
I agree.
出ましょう。
Let's leave. I did feel a bit of hesitation at leaving Takano-san by herself in this darkness. When I thought about it, though, I realized that whatever kinds of evil spirits and ghosts lurked in the darkness, none of them could hold a candle to how scary she was. Even if a phantasm were to appear, she'd be overjoyed to flash her camera at it. It seemed like Shion shared my somewhat rude mental images. We exchanged glances and smiled painfully. We left Takano-san there, bathed in her strobe of camera flashes, decided to go leave the ritual storehouse. Dun 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 dun, ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Everything's happy again. Everyone at the festival seemed to have gone to the stream, so their voices were very distant. The voices of the bugs, on the other hand, were clear, lending an empty feeling of isolation to the place.
どうだい？
How was it?
面白かったかい？
Interesting? Yeah, that's one word for it. Tomatake-san gave us a somewhat mischievous grin. You should have been able to tell by looking at how pale our faces were.
富武さんと一緒に留守番をしてればよかったです。
I should have kept watch outside with you, Tomatake-san. Tomatake-san laughed so delightfully that it wiped away our dark feelings.
シオンちゃんはどうだったかな？
How did you fare, Shion-chan?
怖かったかい？
Were you scared?
一応心の準備があった分怖くはなかったですけど。
I was prepared for it, so I wasn't too afraid, but
でもやっぱり実物は迫力あります。
seeing the real thing was powerful. Shion spoke like she wasn't scared at all. She really had been quite afraid, but seeing as how I was in a way worse a state than her, But seeing as how I was in way worse a state than her, I didn't have much room to talk. As Tomatake-san grinned candidly, my mind, exhausted and locked up by nervousness, began to calm itself.
高野さんはおとなしく見物してたかな？
Was Takano-san an adult about this little expedition?
ほら、彼女子供っぽいところがあるだろう。
You know how she seems like a child sometimes.
宝の山を前にさぞや興奮してたんじゃないかと思ってね。
I was worried she'd be way too exciting. Both Shion and I laughed and left that as our answer.
見るだけならいいんだけどね。
Hopefully she was only looking at things.
こっそりと何かを持ち出したり、いじくりすぎて細具を壊したりしないかが心配なんだよ。
I'm worried she'll sneak something out of here or mess with the ritual implement too much and break it or something. Right, that's quite possible. She is alone in there right now. She might pilfer something small and easily concealed, hiding it in her pocket. See, me and Toмотake think the same way. Ah, ha, 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 yeah.
やりかねないです。
I can see that. Shion said what I was thinking.
本当に何も壊したりしなかったかな。
You sure she didn't break anything?
なんだかドタンバタンと飛び跳ねるような音がよく聞こえたからね。
I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down.
僕は不安で不安で。
I was getting pretty nervous.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
フィルムがなくなっちゃったわ。
I ran out of film.
ジローさん、フィルムが余ってたら分けてくれないかしら。
Jiro-san, if you have any more, could I use some? Takano-san suddenly appeared while we were talking about her, taking everyone by surprise. Toмотake-san smoothly grinned and responded as if nothing had happened. He's pretty mature.
あ、
Ah,
もう予備のフィルムは切れちゃったよ。
I'm all out of spare film.
申し訳ないね。
Sorry about that.
もう、
Jeez.
いついかなる時でもフィルムを残しておかないと、決定的スクープ写真なんか撮れないわよ。
You won't win any Pulitzer Prizes by not stocking enough film for any occasion, you know?
仕方ないわね。
Suppose that's it then. Tomotake's-san scratched his head apologetically. Without film, we're done here. Takano-san seemed to have given up because of that too. We checked carefully to make sure we hadn't left anything inside, then closed the door and turned to the heavy padlock we'd left beside it.
高野さん、何も持ち出してないだろうね。
Takano-san, you didn't sneak anything out, right?
失礼ね。
How rude.
そこまで子供じゃないつもりよ。
I'm trying not to be that childish. I don't believe her for a second. She yoinked something. She got something. Kerclack. Toмотake set the padlock back to the way it was before. From a cursory glance, didn't look like thieves had snuck in at all.
よし、
Okay,
僕たちも沢に行こ
let's get over to the stream ourselves.
う。綿を流すところくらいやらないと、お祭りに来た意味がないよ。
If we don't at least set some cotton afloat, there won't be any point in coming to the festival. Toмотake-san spoke brightly, urging us all on. Setting cotton afloat down the stream. I shake my head a few times, driving away my dismal thoughts as to the double meaning. Takano-san, looking a little let down, kept turning back to glance at the ritual storehouse.
もうこれっきりにしてくれよ。
Let's just leave it at that, alright?
十分に知的好奇心は満たせただろう。
You saw enough to sate your curiosity, didn't you?
まさか。
Oh, not at all.
むしろ新しい興味を惹かれるような発見ばかりよ。
Everything I found only renewed my interest.
今日のでこれまでの仮説が一気に現実になったわ。
All the stories and legends suddenly hold water.
これで今後の調べ方がだいぶ変わってくるんだから。
After today, I'm going to have to change the way I look at all this. Wow, she's truly indomitable. Her curiosity really is something else. Still interested in all this, through and through. What a weirdo. We descended the stone stairs and all the people crowding the stream came into view. Near the bottom of the stairs, we could clearly see people receiving cotton that had been cut out for them, then wishing upon the cotton and setting it afloat down the stream. The festival was already over.
まずったな。
Damn!
綿流しの一番いいところを撮影し損ねたよ。
I missed my chance to photograph the best part of Watanagashi.
あら、まだ遅くないわよ。
Oh, but it's not too late.
私が行って流すんだから。
I'm going to go and set some afloat.
私を撮ってはくださらないのかしら？
Perhaps you could take pictures of me? Takano-san, with an impish expression, brought her head to Tomotake's shoulder. Despite his age, he looked embarrassed. I felt an honest respect for Tomotake's, man to man, for dating such a handful of a woman. Oh boy.
じゃあね。
Goodbye then,
前原くん、
Maiberkin,
シオンちゃんも。
Shion-chan.
僕たちは今からでも沢に行ってみるよ。
We're going down to the stream.
君たちも一緒に来るかい？
Would you like to come with us?
まさか
No, no.
お二人の邪魔なんてできません。
I couldn't get in your way.
どうぞごゆっくり。
Please, take your time. Shion waved her hand to them with an expression just as impish as Takano-san's. Toмотake-san, on his part, seemed to want us to come, but whatever. Shion gave a big stretch and sat down on the stone steps.
疲れちゃいました。
I'm pretty worn out.
同感だな。
Same here.
俺も疲れた。
I'm exhausted too.
ケイちゃんは綿流し初めてなんですよね。
Ki-chan, this is your first Watanagashi, isn't it?
私なんか気にしないで行ってきてください。
You go on. Don't mind me.
私は疲れちゃったんで、人混みはちょっとパスしておきます。
I'm tired, so I'd like to stay away from the crowd. Yeah, if we were to go now, we'd barely slip into the end of the cotton drifting ceremony.
お姉たちがケイちゃんのことを探してるかもしれませんから。
My sister and your other friends might be looking for you too.
行ってきてください。
Go on.
あ、そうだ。
Oh, yeah, right.
ミオンたちと別れたままそれっきりだったな。
They've been by themselves ever since we got separated.
探してると悪い。
I'd feel bad if they were looking for me. Then, Shion suddenly got a playful look on her face, then put her index finger to her lips as if telling me to keep this a secret.
お姉ってすっごく嫉妬深いんです。
My sister's the type that gets really jealous.
私がケイちゃんを独占してたことがバレると、いろいろうるさいんで、今夜のことは秘密にしておいてくださいね。
If she knew I was hogging you for this whole time, she'd never let me hear the end of it, so keep tonight's secret, okay? Keep tonight's secret. Don't say things that are so embarrassing.
そういう意味だけじゃないですよ。
Not only because of that, either.
今夜、私たちがしたことを思えば、秘密にするのは当然です。
Considering what we were doing tonight, we really need to keep it a secret.
今夜起こるかもしれないお社様のたたり。私たち4人が最有力候補なんですからね。
Oishiro-sama's curse might happen tonight, and we four would be the prime candidates. Oh boy. The loosening threads of tension became taut again. Shion, however, burst out laughing.
じゃあ、私はお姉に出くわす前に退散します。
Alright, I'm going to get out of here before I run into my sister.
今日は本当に疲れてるから、お姉とやり合えるだけの体力はないですし。
I really am tired, so I don't have the endurance to put up with her anyway.
シオンってミオンと仲がいいのか悪いのかよくわからないな。
I can't tell if you get along with her or not.
仲いいですよ。
We get along. That was convincing. Though as she said that, her vague expression explained that there are a lot of oddities in a relationship between twins.
俺は一人っ子だからよくわかんないな。
I'm an only child, so I don't really get it.
せいぜい仲良くしろよ。
Make sure you get along with her, okay?
はい。余計なおせっかいと受けたまわります。
Right. Thank you kindly for your meddling.
それじゃあ私はこの辺で。
Okay, I'm gonna go.
ケイちゃんも急いで行った方がいいですよ。
You should hurry up if you want to make it, Ki-chan.
本当に綿流しが終わっちゃいます。
Watanagashi really is about to end. Shion stood up and brushed the dust off her backside. After watching her do so, I returned my eyes to the final ceremony of the Watanagashi festival below me.
でも本当に
Seriously though,
あの音は何だったんでしょうね。
what was that sound anyway?
不愉快というか、気味が悪いというか。
It was kind of unpleasant and creepy.
え
Huh?
何の音だって？
What sound?
音ですよ。
The sound.
ドタンバタンって。
You know, the banging noise?
うるさかったじゃないですか。
It was really loud, wasn't it? I was giving her a blank expression, so Shion stared hard at me. I stared hard at her too.
ごめんシオン。
Sorry, Shion.
はしょらないで最初から説明してくれないか。
Could you give me the short version?
何がうるさかったって？
What was making noise?
ケイちゃん、あれ
Wait, Ki-chan,
気にならなかったんですか？
it didn't bother you? When all said and done, it was like we were speaking two different languages.
シオン、
Shion,
冗談抜きで初めから説明してくれないか。
Explain it to me, without jokes, from the beginning, will you?
音がどうしたって？
What's this about a noise?
ケイちゃんこそ冗談抜きで
Key-chan, you quit joking around too.
本当に気にならなかったんですか？
Really? Honestly? It didn't bother you? Neither of us was giving any ground, and both of us were staring at the other in disbelief. We were answering questions with more questions, with no sign of an actual conversation in sight. Baffled, I held in the urge to shout at her, and asked politely one more time.
もう一度聞くからな。
I'm going to ask one more time, okay?
質問は俺からだ。
I'll ask the questions. Shion nodded silently.
じゃあ聞くぞ。
Okay, here goes.
音がしたって何のことだ？
You said there was a sound. What are you talking about?
ドタンバタンって
The banging sound.
なんだかどこか遠くの板の間で子供が跳ねてるような。
It was like a kid who was jumping up and down on floorboards, somewhere far away.
本当に気にならなかったんですか？
It really didn't bother you?
気にならないも何も。
There was nothing to be bothered by.
そんな音いつ聞こえた？
When did you hear this?
俺は何も聞いてないぞ。
I never heard anything.
ちょっとケイちゃん、それ本気で言ってるんですか？
Oh, wait, Key-chan, are you serious? Shion, as if she didn't understand my plain simple answer, pressed me further, her expression serious. I have no clue what she's talking about, but if it has Shion acting so like this, whatever it was, it gave me the creeps and sent a chill down my spine.
さっき最後殿の中で高野さんと一緒に見て回ってる最中。
It was while we were looking around the inside of the ritual storehouse of Takano-san.
高野さんが昔話を始めた頃からかな。
About the time she started her stories, I think it was.
少しずつ
Little by little.
だんだんと
Louder and louder.
ちょくちょくと
Off and on. She heard a banging sound like a child jumping on distant floorboards.
嘘だろ？
That can't be true.
最後の最後で怖がらせるのはなしだぜ、おい。
Don't start trying to scare me after all that. I didn't hear anything at all. In fact, it was so utterly silent in there that my own heartbeat was almost deafening.
ケイちゃんこそ怖がらせないでください。
Please don't try to scare me either, Key-chan.
なんだか高野さんの怖い話に合わせて音を立ててるようで、私ずっと薄気味悪かったんですから。
It was like something was making noise in time of Takano-san's scary stories, and I was totally creeped out the whole time. The chill rose from my spine to the back of my head. My blood turned cold as it crawled up my body. When it reached my head, my mind froze
ケイちゃんも
over.
高野さんも全然意にも介さない風だったので、私も聞こえないふりをずっとしてましたけど。
You and Takano-san weren't paying any attention to it at all, so I pretended not to hear it either, but
聞こえましたよね。
you heard it, right?
何度かはすごく大きな音でしたから。
It happened a bunch of times, and it was really loud. Shion's eyes were begging me to tell her I heard it. I had no doubt, however, that my own eyes suggested something entirely different. A you've got to be kidding look. In that storehouse, we were surrounded by brutal ritual tools that looked like they were from another planet, listening to terrifying old stories. The whole time, Shion had been hearing a sound that we couldn't hear by herself. Should that make Shion, who heard it, tremble, or should it make me, who didn't hear it, tremble? I didn't know the answer to that at the time. For now, Shion seemed to have made that decision before I did.
なんだよ、突然。
What are you laughing about?
引っかかりましたね、ケイちゃん。
I really got you, Key-chan.
嘘ですよ。嘘。
I was fibbing the whole time.
は
I don't believe her. What? Shion laughed, saying how easily scared I was, and clapped me on the back. Her smile seemed somehow artificial, and actually made me feel worse. Then, after leaving me with 2 or 3 generic, diplomatic goodbye phrases, she left, almost like she was running away. Unconvinced. All I could do was look after her, my mouth agape. At the end of the day, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Shion laughed it off and said she had been lying, but she couldn't possibly have been lying. Of course not. And now that I think back, Tomataka-san said the same thing, didn't he?
なんだかドタンバタンと飛び跳ねるような音がよく聞こえたからね。
I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down.
僕は不安で。
I was getting pretty nervous. Tomataka-san, the most neutral party present at the time, had said he'd heard something. Then, that noise. Oh, shit. It was real. The banging sounds. Sounds as though a child was jumping up and down on some kind of floorboards far away. Oishiro-sama's curse, which happens every year, might happen again tonight. The most plausible victim candidates were Takano-san, Toмотaki-san, Shion, and me. Bustling of the people sounded further away than I would have liked, and the sounds of the insects sounded too close for comfort. I'm near so much human warmth, and yet I can't ever go back there again. That was the ominous idea that sprouted in my mind. Then, all of a sudden, I was pounced on from behind, causing my heart to lurch.
Keiichi, 見つけたなのです。
Keiichi, we found you. It was Rika-chan. When I turned around, Mion and Rina were there too.
やっと見つけた。
We finally found you.
あとはさとこか。
Now we just need to find Satoko.
今年はみんなはぐれちゃったね。
Everyone got split up this year.
来年からはちゃんと合流場所を決めておきたいな。
We should make sure we have somewhere to meet up afterwards next year. How?
そうだね。
You're right.
やっぱりお祭りはみんなと一緒でないとね。
It's a festival, so we should all be together. I listened to Mion's happy declaration with a little bit of guilt.
ケイチは僕の演舞はちゃんと応援してくれましたですか？
Keiichi, did you root for me while I was dancing?
あ
Don't lie to them. No, don't lie. Yeah.
ちゃんと見てたぜ。
I saw it all.
最後までちゃんと頑張ったな。
You did a great job all the way through.
ミスもなかったし。
No mistakes either.
うん。
Yeah.
そうだよリカちゃん。
That's right, Rika-chan.
あんなのはミスのうちに入らないよ。
Oh, it's so awkward. That didn't count as a mistake. I tensed up as I realized I made a mistake of my own. Mion slapped a hand onto my shoulder a little roughly. A gross sweat broke out over my whole body.
ケイちゃんはやった？
Did you do it too, Ki-chan?
綿をもらって沢に流した？
Did you get some cotton and send it down the stream? You haven't yet, right? Is what I could feel her saying. Without the courage to tell any more lies, I lifelessly shook my head.
あれ？
Huh?
そうなのケイチくん。
You haven't, Ketchi-kun?
早く行かないと終わっちゃうよ。
You should go now or it'll be over.
終わっちゃうよ。
It'll be over.
ごめん。
Sorry.
初めてのお祭りだからさ。
This is my first bubmanXIV, so
よくルールがわからなくて。
I don't really understand the rules and stuff.
そうだったね。
That's right.
ごめん。
I'm sorry. Back the fuck up, Mion. Mion took my hand, and we started walking down the stone steps.
ねえケイちゃん。
Hey, Ki-chan.
なんだよ。
What?
シオンには会わなかった？
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Shion? Shion who? Who's Shion? I don't know what you're talking about, Mion. Did you see Shion? No. My heart skipped another beat. Maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand. God, she's such a bad liar. Like, unable to, the body language, apparently, as he lies, he's very incapable of, having his body language, blend with the words that his mouth is saying to make it a believable statement. It's quite surprising just how bad he is. I mean, he's a kid and all, but he's just so bad. Anyway, maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand.
いや、でも。
No. Oh, well.
姿を見たような。
I sort of think I saw her.
でも、ミオンとそっくりだからな。ミオンだったのかもしれないし。
You two look so alike, though, so it might have been you.
そんなに間違えないでしょ？
You wouldn't have gotten that wrong.
服装だって違うんだから。
We're wearing different clothes.
そうだよな。
Huh? Oh, that's right. Mion's momentary silence was like a death grip upon me.
しょうがないな、シオンは。
I just can't do anything about that, Shion.
まあ、あいつのことだから、放っておいても大丈夫かな。
Well, it's her we're talking about, so we can just leave her be. Mion's expression returned to her former usual smile, and we continued down the stone steps, her firmly pulling my hand along. Yeah, I don't necessarily trust Mion when she's like, well, it's Shion. What are we gonna do about her? Wah, wah. Oh boy. Oh hell yeah, we're reading those. All right. Scrapbooks. Number 4. Watanagashi. The rite of Watanagashi is performed during a village festival every June, even now, but reading back to its origin turns up a seriously sanguine ceremony. Originally, Watanagashi would happen at certain intervals. After receiving Oishiro-sama's trust, they chose a sacrifice. Then, the entire village would kidnap, / demon away, or parentheses, the person ceremonially dissect and devour them in a feast. The rules that determine the intervals are shrouded in mystery. This is because the ceremonies occurred extremely irregularly. There's a theory that it was determined based on astrological fortune-telling, but it isn't too convincing. The residents of ancient Onagafuchi village firmly believed that they were half man, half demon transcendents, that they were more valuable than humans were, and they forced people within and without to accept that. Perhaps the act of kidnapping and eating people was done to prove that they were higher up on the food chain. This is just a hypothesis, but maybe the rite of Watanagashi was a political event for the purpose being an outlet for, or outright diverting the attention of, the villagers of the isolated Onagafuchi village, in case any of their complaints or dissatisfactions grew serious. If that was the main reason these ceremonies were held, then it's easy to explain how erratic they were. Another scrapbook. The alleged importance of the implements. Can't find anything that gives a concrete description on what the ritual implements were like. They were, however, real, and would definitely exist in a multitude of different kinds. One source states that the implements used in the Watanagashi rite alone numbered 200. The obvious question then is why they required such a myriad of them. The rite of Watanagashi was to kidnap people through the demoning away, dissect them, and eat them. I believe the tools were for dissection and restraining, but 200 of them is far too many. Generally, tools evolve in such a way as to reach a solution for a certain problem. Once you reach the ultimate goal, that is, attained a certain level of efficiency, tools evolution normally stops there. Regardless, why would they have created so many different kinds? One of the cultural elements responsible for diversification over time is that of entertainment. Tools used for entertainment would evolve over time and branch out. Unlike normal tools, reaching the ultimate goal would be more of a dead end, and in searching for the next goal, it would split into many different subtypes. So then, perhaps it's not a stretch to suggest that these 200 plus implements had some entertainment value. This is just a hypothesis, of course, but maybe the human dissection process was viewed as a type of entertainment. The 3 families of old would develop one new implement, dissection tool, after another, and each was varied, novel, and attracted spectators to keep them from growing bored. No, it's random. It's randomized. Highly programmable, randomized. Many long bot hours to work it. Where was I? After another. Usually known attractions to keep them. It's not unimaginable. All of them have to be enshrined within that storehouse. There is a much longer until the night of Watanagashi. Though its original intent has been lost, I will reveal the secrets of the traditional ceremonial night within the ritual storehouse. Can't restrain my excitement. Watanagashi cannot come soon enough. Oh, that scrapbook. And then after the festival. Late that night, tensions in the police station were strained. In the silence, many of the staff members' eyes shifted back and forth between the clock and their telephones, counting the seconds in that stifled atmosphere. Kumagaya-kun burst in with a young guy trailing behind him.
おいさん、こっちは検視入りました。 じいさまもさっき到着です。
Oishi-san, I got the autopsy results. Court physician just got here.
俺もスタンバイ OK しました。
I'm ready to go, sir.
このまま焼死の現場へ直行します。
I was straight for the burned body's location.
クマちゃん、ちょっと話がややこしくなりました。向こうは身元の判別が非常に困難な状態だそうです。
Kuma-chan, things are going a bit complicated. They appear to be having a very difficult time determining who the victim is.
まさか4年前のあれっすか？
Could they have been dismembered?
いいえ。
Nope.
こんがりといい
Ew.
感じだそうで。
Cooked to a nice light brown. He spoke in sportive tones, but the meaning behind his words was heavy. The staff gave a collective sigh.
頭のてっぺんから丸々？
All the way? Head to toe?
バッチリ黒焦げだそうで。
Completely blackened, it seems.
ああいう匂いってこもるんですよね。
Probably smells terrible, too.
ギフさんかわいそうだな。
What a shame it is to be Gifu-san. Cooked with no possessions. Then, discarded outside the prefecture. At worst, it would have taken a week for the body to be identified. The fact that they'd sniffed it out tonight was huge.
今、小宮山君たちが沖宮の歯科医を根こそぎ野襲してます。カルテで歯型照合するしかないでしょう。
Komiyama-kun and a few others are performing a thorough night raid on the dentist in Okinomiya. All we can do is hope a tooth matches some medical records.
ごめん。
I'm sorry.
誰かきつめのタバコ2箱ぐらい買ってきてくれません？
Could someone go buy me two or so boxes of strong cigarettes? The young guy answered in affirmation and darted out into the hallway.
今年は見事見つけましたね。ひょっとすると過去の失踪者もこんな感じで県外で殺されてたんすかね。
We did an excellent job finding it this year. Could be that the people who disappeared in past years were scattered outside the prefecture like this too.
なら埋めればいいじゃないですか。重りつけて日本海でも。琵琶湖でもいいですね。
Then why not bury them or sink them into the Sea of Japan or Lake Biwa or somewhere like that?
でもどうして一人死んで一人消えるのがこれまでのパターンじゃないですか。
Why though? Hasn't the pattern so far been one person dies and another disappears?
クマちゃん、仏は拘束なしでドラム缶の中でこんがりでしょ。
Kuma-chan,
締められた後にわざわざ焼いたんじゃないかと思うんですよ。
Kuma-chan, the corpse is inside an oil drum, unrestrained and cooked. They probably burned them after strangling them.
見つかることを覚悟の上でです。
They knew it would be found.
じゃあつまり今年は消す気は初めからなかったってことっすか？
So what you mean is, from the beginning, they didn't want a person to disappear this year?
消す気がないってよりは、これはそれとは全く別のものでしょうね。消すどころか主張しているようにすら感じられますよ。
Not so much that as they just aren't related. Person didn't disappear. In fact, whoever did it seems to have wanted to make a show of it.
つまり見せしめの意味があるってことっすか？
You mean it could be a warning? He folded his arms and then heaved a long and heavy sigh.
それをしないでやってくれりゃ、その線もあるんですがね。
That might have been the case had it happened in town.
こんな遠くまで運んで焼いちゃったら、下手したらわかんないでしょう。見せしめにするなら、ひなみ沢の近くでやるべきなんですよ。
If they'd messed up, taking the victim far away and burning them alive wouldn't have been noticed. If they meant it as a warning, they should have done it closer to Hinamizawa.
殺したことを主張したいのに、場所は演出効果の確実じゃない遠方。主張したいのか隠したいのか。
They wanted to emphasize the fact that they killed the victim, but instead of doing it somewhere for dramatic effect, they did it outside the prefecture. Did they want to emphasize it or hide it?
今年は何考えてるのかな、お社様は。
Boy, I do wonder what Oyashiro-sama's up to this year. I honestly thought that was my phone for like a half second before I realized it was like that my phone doesn't make that noise. A telephone ring cut through the heavy silence. A staff member nearby snatched up the receiver.
Oi-san, Komiyama-san です。
Oishi-san, it's Komiyama.
出ました。
They have it!
沖宮のデンタルクリニックで3年前に親知らずの治療をしてます。
The dental clinic in Okinomiya fixed the wisdom tooth 3 years ago.
カルテは
What about the records?
レントゲン付きでバッチリと。
Complete with x-rays.
いやー、こんな明け方前に歯医者さんには申し訳ないな。クマちゃん、小宮山君からカルテ受け取ったらすぐに出発してください。
Well, I feel bad for waking up the dentist before dawn, Kuma-chan. Or dentist before dawn, period. Kuma-chan, get out there as soon as you can, as you get the records from Komiyama-kun.
了解っす。
Will do.
課長です。夜分お疲れ様です。
Oh, it's the chief. Thank you for coming out this hour.
大石さん、遅くなって申し訳ない。状況は
Oishi-san, my apologies for my lateness. What's the situation?
やっと面白くなってきたってとこですかね。燃えてきたぞー。
Well, it's just getting good, you see. We're all getting fired up.
わーお
Wow! Wow, indeed. Wow, indeed. All right. Don't want to trail off here at the end. I really need to beat out really quickly here. This did take actually a bit longer than I thought it would, but it's okay because I held my word. What is it? Almost exactly 3 hours. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching, as always. Appreciate it. We'll be back with Higurashi back Saturday night. I should be back on stream tomorrow night with Final Fantasy. We gotta put that fucking pedal to the metal to finish this game. Sooner rather than later. Anything else? No, I don't think so. I can't think of anything. Have a great Wednesday. Have a great rest of the week. Stay safe, stay well. Do good, be good. All that. Until tomorrow night, take it easy.